Neil Rogers Show on 560 QAM. To talk to Neil, call 567-0560. Toll free in Dade and Broward. Or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests and callers do not necessarily represent those of the Beasley Broadcast Group, its staff, advertisers, or agencies. Now, here's Neil Rogers on 560 QAM.
It's Friday, you bastard. Good evening, Governor Bush, Vice President. Have you formed any guiding principles for exercising this enormous power? So, you don't believe, Vice President Gore, that we should take sides in this and resolve this right? I mean, a lot of people pushing, hey, the United States should declare itself and not be so neutral in this. Now, have I got that wrong? Oh, I got it? Okay, yeah. I'm trying to figure out who the questioner was. Right. Let's move on. All right. All right. No.
Did you?
Let's move on. Vice President Gore, would you support or sign as president a federal law banning racial profiling by police and other authorities at all levels of government? Governor, both Senator Lieberman and Secretary Cheney said they were sympathetically rethinking their views on same-sex relationships. What's your position? Thank you, Vice President Gore. Governor Bush. See you next week. For now, from Winston-Salem, I'm Jim Blair. Thank you and good night.
Good night. Nice going, Jim. Get your phone. I think you put a thumb on it, if you ask me. 10:03 at 560 WQM. Happy Friday to you, and thanks to my good, close, personal friend, Tony. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got to say that Rimmer finally did something good. I mean, he, got me to lose all that money on Xerox, and he also hooked me up with Mitch Hirsch, speaking of losing money, big time, but he got me in touch with Tony Jakowski, whatever the guy's name is. I can't pronounce it. At the Omega Eye Center up there in, wherever that is, Coral Springs. I don't know if I like Coral Springs or dislike Coral Springs. Have you ever spent any time in Coral Springs? Driving through Coral Springs, I'm impressed by the fact that actually there are some young people there, which is always a good sign. Of course, most of them are gang members or murderers, but, nothing's perfect. But it's just far. It's just distant. Far. People have moved to Boca. Why?
Plasticky, it's like...
Yeah, plastic and spastic. And Mitch Hirsch lives there, so I don't like it that much. But anyway, Tony runs the Omega Eye Center. I got my new glasses. These real ultra light. In fact, you didn't even see I had glasses on. They're so light. They're so tiny.
They're
like featherweight. They're rimmers? No, they're rimless. Yeah, rimless almost. They have these titanium frames. They're I'd say the whole thing weighs about 2.5 ounces, maybe. Light as a feather. See as clear as a bell. I can see from here to Mount Rushmore. Nice going, Tony. You're the best, baby. So he said, don't say anything on the air unless it's good. That's what he said. He said, if you have any problem, call me. Don't put it on the air. He said, blame Rimmer. I said, that sounds good. This is a shocking statistic that should surprise nobody. Oh, well, it should surprise George P. Bush. The nephew? No, not our nephew here, but the Bush nephew. Jeb's kid. The one that used to look really good till about a week ago. Who was on there here tonight pontificating about the great contribution. What was it? What did he say? How did he pronounce it? I guess that was it. Contribution.
It was a different word, I think.
No. But anyway, he mispronounced it. That runs in the family. Of the young people, we're going to have a record-breaking turnout by young people this year. Well, Dan Rather reported last night, and when Danny Boy speaks, we believe it. At least I do, anyway. Dan Rather would never tell a lie unless it's about his sex life. But anyway, CBS and MTV hooked up for a poll. Everybody and their brother is taking a poll. Some people are hopping on it. And this should really, this should give you pause, as they say. 18 to 24-year-olds were the group that they polled. 75% of 18 to 24-year-olds could name both candidates for president. 30% could name both vice presidential candidates. Can I put that very succinctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it another way, 25% or a quarter of 18 to 24-year-olds in America, in the U.S. of A., couldn't name both candidates running for president. Now, I realize they're tough names, like one has been the vice president for 8 years, and the other one, Bush. I mean, what do you think that most 18 to 24-year-olds are thinking about Bush? Like a lot of time. Huh? You would think so. Tough name. Bush and Gore, vice president. 25% couldn't name both. And 70% couldn't name the vice presidential candidates. Both of them. I mean, some might have known Drew Lieberman, and some might have known Cheney, but I doubt it. How do you like that? Does that disturb anybody out there?
No.
I didn't think so. It disturbs the crap out of me because it shows you how many morons we got. It shows you what a great job we're doing of educating, and like I told you several days ago, neither Gore nor Bush gives a flying crap about educating anybody. I mean, it's all great campaign rhetoric, but nobody wants, because once they educate the public, especially the minorities, then you become dangerous. It's much better to have a bunch of morons out there. Just take a look at what's happening now. And speaking of dangerous, according to the latest CNN tracking poll yesterday, all you Bush people, stop getting all panicky. He's 10 points ahead. Do we believe CNN? Do we believe it? No. I mean, their polling is as spastic as the day is long, as the expressions on Bernie Shaw's face. Just out of nowhere, all of a sudden after that tour debate, he's 10 points up. Because they like him. And then I got these faxes. It's amazing to me. You know, you Bush people, look, like I've said before, if you like him, if you want to vote for him, fine. I have a very strong difference of opinion, which I'm going to express. It's amazing how their hero, fat-ass Limbaugh, he can go on there and spout his right-wing hysteria 24 hours a day. No problem. He's great, you know. The spokesman. All that other crap he's peddling. About the Clintons murdering Vince Foster and all the other 400 people they murdered, all this hysterical paranoia that he just makes up as he goes along. But if I have, or anybody has the audacity to be on the air and be opposed to the right-wing agenda, then all these hysterical faxes start coming in here. Like Jerry over in North Fort Myers, who's writing me this morning, scathing crap about Molly Ivins and Paul Begala and blah, blah, blah. You know something? See, you can attack the messenger all you want, but you can't attack the facts that they're presenting, especially the Paul Begala book, because it's all documented. It's all footnoted. You know what a footnote is, Jerry?
No.
Well, maybe look it up in the dictionary if you got one. Have somebody read it to you. Then there's another hysterical from another right-wing paranoid named Don Cosby in Fort Lauderdale who says, boy, will I be shocked if I ever hear these words on the air. You know something, Don? I would read your long, boring facts on the air, but it's so paranoid I would embarrass you. About the conspiracy about Bill's deal with Hillary, and the reason that she looked the other way with the Monica thing is because he promised her a chance at a seat in the Senate. And he says, you seem to have a hard time understanding how anyone could not admire your hero, Bill Clinton. No, I don't have a hard time because, you know, people have a difference of opinion. I happen to like him. And we took the poll the other day just to see, and he won hands down overwhelmingly. He had more votes than Bush and Gore put together before the conspiratorialists got on there and started loading up the poll. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I hope I'm wrong, Don, but I think that after the next 4 years, people are going to look back and say, you know something, we wish Bubba would come back again. Let's give him another shot. Guarantee you. But, of course, in reading your hysterical about the hate, he hates this one, and he hates that one, and Hillary, and he hates Gore. Well, so great. Go out and vote for Bush 4 or 5 times. Be my guest. Go get some Bush. And you did hear some of it on the air. How do you like that, Don? 9 minutes after 10 at 560 WQM. And also a fax from, whatever her name was, some Jewish lady who's wishful thinking about Drew Lieberman and his great influence on the Cubans down here in South Florida. Oh, man. Wait till you, I guess you didn't see the poll in the Herald this morning.
No portion of this program may be reproduced without the express written permission of WQAM DC Broadcast Group, Incorporated.
Will you fudge backer?
Now, from Washington, the McLaughlin Group, featuring Eleanor Cliff, Jack Jamond, and sitting in for Pat Buchanan, New York Giant Cheeky Barber. Now, here's John McLaughlin. Issue 1, George W. Rings or vault? Eleanor Cliff.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jack Jamond.
Well, that's not an easy choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber. I'm going to have to say the vote. Wrong! Actual answer, floor exercise.
That wasn't even a choice.
Next issue, Al Gore. Favorite Broadway show. Bring in the noise, bring in the funk, or Cats. Eleanor G, I think you're swallowed off.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jackie, Big Javon!
Well, that's a very difficult choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber!
I'm going to have to say rent.
Not a choice, Ricky Tiki Barber! You gave an answer last time that wasn't a choice! Wrong! Correct response, cats. He loves them. Next issue. The cast of Big Brother should be murdered. How? Eleanor!
Guillotine.
Wrong! Check your mark.
Dynamite.
Wrong! Tiki Barber!
I don't think they should be killed.
Wrong! Actual answer, poison pudding. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 10:15 at 560 WQAM. Here's another insipid fact from Sean in Pompano Beach. He's obviously got some serious problems. He's the one who was asking the question about that ridiculous Hoagie Carmichael song a couple of days ago. Here's today's facts from Sean, who evidently is going to be sending us another idiotic facts every day. It says, Neil, do you know what the secret to happiness is? Thanks, Sean in Pompano Beach. Sean, the secret to happiness is coming in and not getting a fax from you. That makes my entire day. Just keep it in mind. Very simple. See how easy it is to be happy, Sean? You got it? Good. FIU poll shows exiles losing hope for Cuba. This is in the Herald this morning, and evidently the woman, like I said before, Ann, who sent me that desperate, wishful thinking thing about Jew Lieberman's going to get a whole bunch of Cubans voting for Gore. Dreaming, sweetheart. Here's the poll breakdown. This is the FIU's Cuba 2000 poll, measuring the attitudes of local Cuban-American community by U.S. Cuba policy, and et cetera, and so on. That's also, I don't really care about it. It's got alien stuff and all this other, and do you think there are going to be major political changes in Cuba, and yada, yada, yada. But the last one, who will you vote for in the November presidential elections? It's got the local Cuban community, local non-Cubans, and then national. And, of course, being the Herald, when it says national, and I read the whole article to try to understand what that means, national. Does that mean national everybody that they polled? And, I don't know. Or just Cubans national? We don't know. Anyway, who would you vote for in the November presidential elections? This is local Cuban people. Bush 64, Gore 15%, undecided 16%, others 1, and don't know, no response 5. Cinco. Or is that the AC6? And then in local non-Cuban, Bush 21, Gore 49, undecided 20%, other 2%, don't know, no response 8. That's the AC6. And then nationally, and I have no idea where this poll came from, Gore 36, Bush 28, and undecided 30, but the numbers don't mean anything because it doesn't say who was polled nationally, so it's rather meaningless, as most stuff in the Herald is. Now, there were a whole bunch of calls on there briefly for about 2 seconds. What were those people wanting? What the hell was that all
We're going to get the CD this year. What bits are on it? What kind of bits are on it?
Go to Specs, okay? Go over to Specs this weekend. That's where to go. And just look on the back of the CD or the cassette, and it'll have the names of all the bits that are on it. It's great. Go there and get it. Quit crapping around. Specs all over South Florida, including, of course, Naples and Fort Myers, and Dade Broward and Palm Beach. So I have my, somebody must have lifted my keychain, the one I had sitting here. There you go. And the keychains are available only through NeilRogers.com or WQM.com or from our van hits. Are they going out today?
I don't know.
I don't know. The nephew.
Or they can order by phone.
Or they can order by phone by calling the nephew or Miguel at 305-650-0156. And if you talk real nice to Miguel, he might do something good for you. 305-650-0156. I've been talking nice to him forever since he came here. Has he done anything nice for me?
No.
Not yet, but I haven't given up hope. But anyway, those people who think that the Cuban community is going to be voting for Gore because of Jew Lieberman or this one or that one, you are dreaming. You're in la-la land. Here's Pompano Beach, our first call of the day.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a great affirmative action story for you.
A great what?
Affirmative action.
Uh-huh.
Okay, where I work, most administrative clerical people are Schwarzes. They're nice people, you know. So yesterday, I'm sitting by my desk, and one of them comes walking by with a box filled with chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, you want to buy some chocolates? Huh?
Forrest Gump?
And she says, you want to buy some chocolates? I said, no. So she keeps walking. I think, well, maybe her daughter or somebody is for a charity, right? So I said, hey, who are the chocolates for? She says, oh, for my sister. I said, oh, is it for school? No, she wants to go next day to Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
She's selling chocolates for her sister so the sister can go to Busch Gardens.
Well, how many did you buy?
None.
Why not?
Because she should get it on her own.
Well, why can't her sister wants to go to Busch Gardens? At least she didn't go and rob it from a convenience store.
Well, that's
She's
true.
trying to be an enterprising business lady. What's wrong with it? Go buy some chocolates and get out of here, you racist pig.
And that has what to do with affirmative action? He said he had to do affirmative action.
He's trying to come through the back door Don't you understand? And talk about the fact that these schwarzers who are working in wherever his establishment is are there only because what he's saying is that they're dumb. Isn't that what he's saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I think you're just insensitive and ought to go buy some goddamn chocolates. What kind were they, as a matter of fact? Maybe we'll buy some. Yeah, send them over here, honey, and maybe we'll buy some. Just as long as they're not the kind that make you with all that phony crap in them. Here's our poll for I guess we better get to yesterday's poll first. Now it's reloading on there. It's reloading, and now, it's shooting off. The United States is one of the safest, most civilized countries in the world. 170, only 22.6% fell for that one. No better or worse than most countries as far as violence is concerned. 206, 27.4%. But far and away, the leading category in our poll yesterday, a slaughterhouse filled with gun nuts and scumbags. 374, 49.8%. Otherwise, about 50% had the honesty to say, this is a slaughterhouse. And I commend you, partly because you're absolutely correct. As far as the other two, like John McLaughlin would say, wrong! That's right. Wrong answer. You know something, if I played that for 4 hours, I wouldn't stop laughing. See, if nobody's ever seen that show, they're going, what's funny about that? But, Kiki Baba, the accent is perfect, and it's just...
I've never seen the show.
You've never seen the show?
Ever. I don't know who any of those people are.
Oh, then how come you're laughing so much?
Because
if you would have seen the show, you'd need the pins in there. It's
for sure.
You've never seen McLaughlin and Company?
No.
With Ellen Clift?
No.
And first of all, Pat Buchanan is not on that show. They have that big fat Tony, that British guy. How come it is that all the Brits that have come over here now that they have on TV that they parade around are all right-wingers? I guess there aren't any liberal Brits, at least not the one. Well, I guess they wouldn't come here. Maybe these are gun huggers. But the big fat British guy, Tony something, I don't know what his name is.
When is it on?
It's one of the Sunday morning talking heads.
Oh, I don't know why.
I think.
Usually the right finds all of those things.
Of course, you wouldn't watch it because it's on PBS. And I ordinarily don't watch PBS either, but sometimes in channel surfing I'll fall on it and the show too. It's worth watching. It's a panic. It's hysterical. Okay, here's today's poll question, and it's perfect after that first call, because we know there are a lot of you people out there that harbor bigotries and prejudices, like George. Generally, which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? That's our poll question today. Got it, Eric? Generally, which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? And, we don't like making generalizations on this show, do we?
Yeah!
Well, yeah, we do. Because, as much as I tell you to deal with people as individuals, and that is a good way to live, the fact is we don't do that. Because we have experiences with people who are, fill in the blank, whatever it is, and then we start forming opinions based on the experiences, good or bad. Let me say it again. Generally, which group of people in South Florida bugs you the most? New Yorkers, senior citizens, Cubans, African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, rednecks, or French Canadians. How many is that? 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate least? Huh? That's not bad. 8 categories. New Yorkers, senior citizens, Cubans, African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, rednecks, or French Canadians. And I'm not adding any more. I'm sure that we could find many, many more groups to put on there, but I think we've covered most of the bases with that, wouldn't you?
Uh-huh.
I think we've put our finger on it most of the way around. Here's a mobile in Kendall. Hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, that freaking idiot. Who cares what they're selling chocolate for? You want it or not?
Yeah, do you want them or not, you moron?
No, thank you, or yes, please.
He's just
really, who cares what it's
right.
for?
That's right.
That guy wants to go to Busch Gardens. What's he going to work a little extra overtime so he can stay an extra day? No, you can't work overtime. You can't go to Busch Gardens, you idiot. I have another note.
Yeah.
All of those polls, I was never, I always wondered who gave the polls and who they surveyed.
And who climbed it.
And for years and years and years, you'd always hear about the Nielsen ratings, your radio books, all the newspaper polls. I have never participated in any of those, and I'm wondering where they get their opinions and their results. And finally, the other day, I just got a call. It was some telemarket. They weren't selling anything.
Yeah.
It was a telephone poll. And the question was, if you were to vote today, who would you vote for, Gore or Bush? And I think it was actually Tuesday the phone call came in.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I would vote for Gore.
Yeah.
Is there anything I could say or do to change your mind?
Well, that's not a telemarketing poll. That's probably it was Barbara on the phone. Barbara Bush, Babs.
And I said, if I were to vote today, no. I said, if I were to vote on election day, yeah, put Jesse Ventura on the ballot.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you, sir. That was it.
Quick, yeah, that probably pissed her off big time.
Yeah. Oh, well. That was my 2 cents, Neil.
Well, congratulations, sir. I'm glad you're part of the American scene now. You're official. Thank you so much. See, there's a guy who's finally, counted for something. Some bogus tele. Is there anything we can do to change your mind? That's good. See, and that's probably the way CNN does their poll, too, the Gallup people. Do we trust the Gallup people?
No.
They ought to gallop into the sunset. I would trust Frank Gallup more than George Gallup, and Frank Gallup's been dead for probably 30 years. You know Frank Gallup? Of course you don't. He used to be on Lights Out before you were born. How do you know Frank Gallup?
I've heard the name.
Deep, booming voice. Booker Bryan would know Frank Gallup because he knows all those old dead people. 25 past 10 if I got some great, in this business about Molly Ivins and about Paul McGowan. Let me say it again. Attack the messengers all you want. And I also want to repeat, that crap, the one guy yesterday, see, if you keep saying something often enough, that was Hitler's thing, keep repeating the same crap and they'll start to believe it, about the liberal press. You look at the papers this morning, here's a big column by Cal Thomas, William Safire. Who are all these liberal columnists? I mean, Carl Rowan is dead. Ellen Goodman, she's one liberal columnist. Who are all these other great liberal columnists? And on television, who are all the great liberal commentators? George Will, Bob Novak, Roland Evans, John McLaughlin. Bye-bye. Who are they?
Oh, that O'Reilly guy.
I can't believe, and all the people on Fox, except for that token Julio Schwartz or Juan, whatever his name is they got on there, Juan Medieta. One Ton Tomato, whatever his name is. Oh, no, there's this tremendous liberal bias. See, this is what you're dealing with the right-wingers. They're all paranoid and delusional. They probably have, red ants crawling under their bed all night long, too. They're probably looking under there to see if the boogeyman, to see if a communist is under there. Like Ann Richards. Oh, you're wrong. Hey, they're all communists. They have no credibility. Maxine Waters and Ann Richards, they're all communists. Right. 26 after 10 at 560 WQS. And it's free, it's me.
This is a story of a girl who got lucky. And a nickel hit the jackpot. She got it all. While his body rocks, she can smile. It's what she was waiting for.
$50.
And now she is so wealthy. This poor Margaret girl. Not because she's so lucky. Not a grandpa, and he died. Not because it always starts thinking, if I had to do that old factor, I deserve 450 mil.
1031 at 560 WQAM. Our poll question is up. Generally, which group of people in South Florida bugs you the most? Cubans, New Yorkers, senior citizens, French Canadians, African Americans, Haitians, rednecks, or Jamaicans? Going to be, I think, a stellar poll over the weekend. Reveal some real bitterness and feelings in this town. Oh, we do have a lot of bitterness. I didn't invent it. I mean, let's just bring it out there on the table and take a look at it and then put it away for a few days. Want to put it away?
No.
I didn't think so. In an interview with a gay publication, President Clinton says homosexuals stood by his side during impeachment because they understood what it was like to be publicly humiliated and abused. Asked by The Advocate magazine how he felt about the support he received during the scandal from gays, Clinton said it came from the same wellspring of experience that prompted so many African Americans to stick with me because they've been there. Expressing his lingering frustration with the investigation of his affair with the White House intern that nearly brought down his presidency, Clinton likens the vigilance of his opponents with those who have persecuted gays, blacks, and other minorities. The people who have been targeted, who have been publicly humiliated and abused, I think, identified with what was going on, he said. He told the magazine Minority saw the investigation and impeachment, as he did, as just a vehicle to find some last desperate way to undermine the result of two elections. I think there were a lot of people who knew what it was like to take a bullet and saw it for what it was. Clinton goes on to say that he was a little bit surprised that what the interview described as anti-gay conservatives hated him so much. They see me as an apostate because I'm a Southern white male Protestant, and Southern white male Protestants have been the backbone of their power. Maybe they just don't like me. And speaking of Southern white male Protestants, wait till you hear this one. Jimmy Carter renounced the Southern Baptist Convention. Oh, yeah. Good old Jimmy Carter from Plains or Aintree. We're not really sure which. We're still checking up on that family tree.
Plaintree.
Plaintree? What do you think they're playing up there in the family tree? Wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, Former President Jimmy Carter, the son of a Southern Baptist Sunday school teacher, has disassociated himself from the nation's largest Protestant denomination and criticized its increasingly rigid creed. I have finally decided that after 66 years, I can 66. I wonder what the third number that's going to be. I can no longer be associated with the Southern Baptist Convention, the 76-year-old former president said in a letter mailed to 75,000 Baptists nationwide yesterday by a group of moderate Texas Baptists. Carter said the Southern Baptist Convention, which got almost 16 million members, has adopted policies that violate the basic premises of my Christian faith, including a denominational statement that prohibits women from being pastors and tells wives to be submissive to their husbands. Hey! Like that. Nice going, Jimmy. Yeah, who never stole a freight train? And it was kind of a bumbling yahoo, but nevertheless, his heart was in the right place, even though, of course, he had lust in it. Maybe that was his problem. He had lust in that heart. 567, I mean, we know that Ronnie never had lust in his heart, because look what he married. A little stick. A little stiffy. Here's Cutler Ridge. Hello.
Okay, great. Thanks for the bulletin.
Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard the new spot they're running on your station for the Hirsch Arnold team?
No.
It's pretty funny. The guy claims that historically the market has proven that from May to October is a very bad time to have your money in. November until May is when the market really rocks. So that's what you got to do now.
Well, how come the church didn't tell me that when I came to in March and said let's put it all in in CDs or put it all in money market or something until November, because then it's really going to rock?
I don't know. You better ask Mr. Arnold. I think he was the one doing the spot.
Wayne Arnold?
Maybe.
I'd rather give my money to Wayne Arnold than Ken Arnold. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's more profit in those little burgers.
That's right.
And,
burgers.
Yeah, you said it. Also, as far as this press goes, when some of my reactionary friends start talking about the liberal media, I try to point out my favorite example, Pat Buchanan. Nobody even knew who he was until he was on Crossfire.
That's right.
And their answer for that is that, well, yeah, now that everybody's on to the, liberal press, they throw a token in there every once in a while to, and if you push them hard enough.
Like George Will. I mean, I could go down the list and spend from here till 2 o'clock going down the list of all these fascists they got on there. And I just love the way Bob Novak, who's one of the most virulent and obnoxious, he always looks like Dracula in heat. He's foaming at the mouth, and that fake smile. As soon as he knows the camera's on, he comes up with that fake affected smile. But at the end, when he has to read the line, I love the way he over-dramatized. Join us again tomorrow night for another edition of Crossfire! Well, I mean, come on, Novak. Who are you kidding, man? Even Heinrich Himmler's embarrassed by you. Crossfire!
And most of these people that rail about the liberal media, if you push their buttons enough, eventually you'll get them to rail about the liberal Jewish media.
The liberal Jew fags. That's right. Now you're talking.
Exactly.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay, thanks, and have a nice weekend from your liberal Jew fag host. 5670560 got 4. What's going on here? Well, all those people that were on there when I didn't want to talk to them, and now that I'm actually in the mood to take some calls here, one on the board. Pretty weak. You're really weak. I'm just loaded with piss and vinegar today. I want to thank my good close friend Jean Louise over there. That therapy. Oh, and my mother says I better be sure to mention the therapy I'm talking about is for my hand. She is so freaking paranoid.
Oh, yeah, that's
as opposed to like mental. Can you believe that? Yes, she said that. That's how paranoid and lifeless she is. This is the kind of thing she's got to worry about, besides the fact that my refrigerator is too cold or not too hot and not too cold. It's not just right. Yeah, the therapist is for my hand, not for my brain, although to be honest with you, talking to these bozos 4 hours every day, 25 years, it's a miracle I'm not going to one of those, but I don't believe them anyway. I can't afford to go to a shrink. It's small enough already. But Louise, my hand therapist over there at, what is the place called? University Rehab Center? I think that's the name, but great, the best. Thank you, Jerry. He runs the joint. It's fantastic. They got the machine, the ultrasound, and they take that thing and run along, and you hear all the sounds of it, and you can feel it. You can feel the microwaves going into your hand and like breaking down all that crap. And the swelling in my hand has gone down dramatically. And look at that. I can actually make a fist. Make a fist. Got that little pinky, and not filming. It's got a way to go. But I'm getting there. My hand is almost back to normal. You're the best, Louise. That's for you. My shrink. Here's a mobile in Delray Beach. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, Neil, even though we know you don't like the brothers, but you have a real brother here. I'm black and I'm Jewish.
What do you mean I like brothers? What does that mean?
I like the show, man.
Yeah.
Subliminal, too.
Uh-huh.
Very nice.
And
nothing, man. You're okay, man. You're okay for a white boy.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Okay,
All right,
okay, see you, boy. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. Nothing shocks these banks. I got all these Bush quotes. I got this thing about Steve Case, the CEO of AOL, and the money they're contributing to ultra-right wing like Jim Kennedy. I do want to mention Fred Grimm, you're an asshole at the Herald, which I've always known that. Once in a while he'll write a column that makes some sense, but generally after he ripped the teenage guys that think about the clubs in Fort Lauderdale, and then I ripped them on the air, and he changed 180 degrees 2 days later in the next column, and then today he writes a stupid column, Forget Alien, Canker's King Now, and he writes a thing about that lady's dog that died from the poison that they were spraying, and he says, a dead doggy, the autopsy's pending, added another level of resentment against the $170 million citrus canker campaign, and the column is all over the place. As usual, in our local newspapers, he doesn't really say anything. A dead doggy. You know, like it's a big joke. You're a joke, asshole. You're a real joke. And speaking of jokes, Judge jails now adult crime boy for 10 years.
Hey!
Yeah. Long overdue. Crime boy. This was also supposed to be a big joke. Oh, isn't this cute? Let's give him 400 chances. And he still turned out to be a piece of scumbag. Piece of crap. Just keep giving more chances and more chances, and where the hell does it stop? Here's my last chance for phone calls today. I'm telling you right now. This is it. Because I'm loaded for bear today. I'm down on that scale. George is an all-time low in weight. I'm getting there. Not an all-time low, but I'm getting down there into a new 10 pounds. You know what I mean? There's a new thing on the scale.
That's exciting when you get to do that.
Yeah, when you cross that barrier from the 190s into the 180s, and then God only knows where to go from there. This is it. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out of town, 877-785-6345. Last call.
This is 560 QAF, The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAF.
It's Friday, you bastard.
Now, a sneak peek backstage at Robert Downey Jr. preparing for his role in Hamlet.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer.
Robert, you need a line?
No thanks, got my own. The swings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
Robert, you all right down there? Rob? Mr. Junior? Do we still have Charlie Sheen's number?
Probably. It's 10:45 at 560 WQAM. Madam, said the sales manager, that the audio system in this car is completely automatic. All you need to do is tell it what you want to listen to, and you'll hear exactly that. Oh, I see her at the top. The lady bought a new Lexus. I missed that because the fax is bad. But anyway, she's got her new Lexus. She drives out, somewhat amazed, a little confused. She looked at the radio and said, Nelson. The radio responded, Ricky or Willie. Soon she was speeding down the highway to the sounds of On the Road Again. The lady was astounded. If she wanted Beethoven, that's what she got. If she wanted Nat King Cole, she got it. Suddenly, at the traffic light, her light turned green and she pulled out. Off to her right, out of the corner of her eye, she saw a small sports utility vehicle speeding towards her. She swerved and narrowly missed a head-on collision. Asshole, she muttered. And from the radio, ladies and gentlemen, the Republican candidate for president, George W. Bush. Oh! How do you like that? I kind of thought it had a moment or two if I would have read it right from the top, but it was still okay. Clear Channel sawed for food. Sued for fraud. Florida Senate candidate Andy Martin has filed consumer fraud charges in all 50 states, count 'em, baby, alleging that Clear Channel is defrauding listeners by using contests that are portrayed as local but are in fact nationwide. Fraudulent, baby. Cheap channel fraud. Martin claims Clear Channel is defrauding listeners into thinking they're competing for a prize on only one station, when in fact they're competing with people listening on hundreds of stations. Remember we had a call on this the other day? Saying most U.S. senators are too dumb to exercise meaningful oversight over communications matters, Martin has also asked FCC Chairman Bill Kennard to open a formal FCC investigation into the matter. Just yesterday, the Boston Globe ran a story that called a Clear Channel contest in WXKS in Boston suspect because even though the station airs a disclaimer, there's no guarantee that an XKS listener will ever win. It's no different from what McDonald's does, said the WXKS PD John Ivey told the Globe, which notes that Clear Channel is diligently running disclaimers during the contest because the company was fined $80 grand by the Florida Attorney General's office earlier this year for deceptive trade practices during a similar contest. Clear Channel did not return R&R's phone calls by press time, R&R being radio and records from which this article comes. How do you like that? So I remember early in the year when they got nailed the first time, and they're so stupid and so full of crap that they're still doing it. And I'll give you the same thing I told the caller the other day. It's just like in Vegas, Quartermania, mega bucks. They have these gigantic jackpots that are built up at the slot machines, 20 million, 15 million, 7 million. And the fact of the matter, and they don't lie about it, although a lot of people are too stupid to realize, they have it posted, but those are universal in the state of Nevada. They're in casinos all over, or maybe just in Vegas, but they're in all casinos. So if you're in the MGM or you're in Harrah's, it's not just in there. So you have to understand that your chances of winning, the winner, somebody is going to win the jackpot eventually, but it may not even be in the casino where you're playing. This is the same thing. Only these people are playing fast and loose, getting people to tune into a station thinking that they got a chance to win money, and maybe somebody in their station in Topeka, Kansas is going to win. And you haven't got any chance. Nice going, Cheap Channel. They may not be good, but at least they're consistent. They make Beasley look good, and boy, that is really that's saying a lot. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hello, Neil. I just want to say this here. Are the American people massacred that they will vote for a guy like Parrot Bush? I mean, he looks like a parrot.
Yeah.
And I just like to say that coming election 7, he's going to turn into an old man, and he's going to say, well, I couldn't stick it, so I guess I'm going to lick it. Bye.
Anybody know what he said?
Bye, bye, bye.
Oh. 5670560. That's the material they got today. You people, I was talking to somebody yesterday, I won't see who it was. And he was telling me, he said, you know something, all these years I thought you were exaggerating, but you're right, you can't promote anything in this town. This is a dead place. They don't support anything. Just like this show. I mean, yeah, knock on wood, when they get those diaries, thank God. But other than that, you can't motivate these people to do anything. I hate to even imagine, talk about the Panthers, which I won't mention more than 2 seconds because that'll be the end of the show. I can't even imagine what kind of attendance we're going to have next Wednesday night. Because they still haven't won a game. And if they get walloped by Colorado tonight, which is fully anticipated by me and many others, it could be really ugly. Now, just a lot of phonies ready to jump on the bandwagon, like that big phony hoopla a couple of weeks ago, Hurricanes and FSU, which turned out to be a great game, but most of the hoopla, at least down here, was all phony baloney. And now they're playing the girls' school again, and they're oh yeah, Temple, boy, even the Jews like Temple.
Oh,
yeah. Uh-huh. They could be playing Yeshiva, and it'd be the same competition. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Neil, how are you doing today?
Okay.
Good. Hey, I have...
Very lonely, very quiet here today. I'm all loaded for beer. I'm just full of it in this audience. They're in a coma.
Well, I got a solution for how to get Gore elected. You would agree that most of the green-toothed Cubans dislike you.
Yeah.
You ought to start
They're not listening
Bush.
to this show. They're not listening.
Okay, well, you ought to start pushing Bush.
No, I'm not pushing Bush. No, I'm not pushing Bush.
For Gore.
No, thanks, no. They're all listening to Radio Mambi and all this other crap. Nice try, sir. I'm not pushing Bush. Although I do have a suggestion for some of those old green tooth. Yeah, push that. 5670560. This is weak today. Man, oh man, I can't believe this. My hand is coming back. I feel great. George and I are both losing weight on the scale. Got some serious energy on this end. And the other end, yeah, lethargy. Just the usual crap. Club owners plead for an end to AIDS law. Thank whoever faxed it, but I already had it clipped out. I'm on top of it. Under 21 ban causing financial strain, judge told. The owners of a Fort Lauderdale nightclub asked a Broward judge Thursday to stop the city's effort to keep the under 21 crowd out of the bars. At this point, we've laid off half our employees, said Brian Smith, general manager of the Chili Pepper nightclub on East Broward Boulevard. Smith told Broward Circuit Judge Jeffrey Strikefield he expected the club to go out of business if the Fort Lauderdale city ordinance banning younger patrons remains in effect. Chili Pepper has featured concerts by Hootie and the Blowfish, David Bowie, and other acts since opening in '97. The club has never been cited for underage drinking, Smith said. The club lost $37,500 in the week after the ban was enacted in early October, Smith said. It lost another $25,000 the following week. Under the club's pre-ban policy, patrons 21 and older were given a non-transferable wristband. No one without a wristband was allowed to purchase drinks. Assistant City Attorney Stephen Scott said it was almost impossible to enforce a no-drinking policy for people under 21 in a nightclub setting, and the problem of underage drinking would be considerably lessened by keeping younger patrons out of the nightclub. Judge Strikefield said he may decide today whether to issue an injunction against the ordinance. Please do it, Judge. You're going to put all these poor bastards out of business. Not to mention, on one of the shows last night, I think it was on MSNBC, they had a piece about the kids that turned 21 in college and the kids that are dying from drinking. Did you see that piece?
The binge drinkers?
No,
those had stories about it before.
And see, this is what happens in America because you make it the forbidden fruit. Therefore, I'm going to be 21. I'm just going to go crazy, and then maybe I'll kill myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It doesn't work. Prohibition doesn't work. And putting people out of business also isn't such a great idea. You assholes in Fort Lauderdale, you blue noses, you. Oh, but if you're over the age of 100, it's okay to drive. And you're on 75 million different prescription drugs and all hopped up on God only knows what, then it's okay to drive. Because the senior citizens, like I told you, are the ones who vote. And all you young people out there, I keep telling you this, 25% of 18 to 24-year-olds can't name both presidential candidates, and you wonder why nobody cares about you? Why there's no constituency there. Tom Green ain't running for president. And 30%, in other words, 70% of people in this country, 18 to 24, can't name both vice presidential candidates. You know what? I mean, to me it's astonishing because if you watch, even if you never turned on a newscast, CNN, any of that stuff, if you're just watching just all the other stuff, Gore and Bush, forget about the other guys, but Gore and Bush have been on every damn show except for cooking with Amy or the asshole there. Amy Lagasse. Yeah. They've been everywhere. But 25% of 18 to 24-year-olds can't name both candidates because they got long, confusing names like Gore and Bush. More than 3 letters. Here's a mobile in West Palm. Hello.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Lawless.
Yes, sir?
You know, I think Bush would do good on Howdy Doody.
Yeah. I think him and Bill McCollum would be good.
Yeah, and you know, remember Dan Quayle? I think Mr. Bush looks, he makes Dan Quayle look like a rocket scientist.
I would agree with that.
And you remember how when there was a guy that claimed he had sold pot to Dan Quayle and they put him under the jail?
In Texas, yes.
Yeah, and all right, how many people do you think have been paid off or killed and buried in a field somewhere that sold coke to Bush or parties?
Right.
And how many sluts out there have been paid off? And how many women did he have abortions done for that he probably banged up?
I'm hearing that the Larry Flint expose is coming out next week. That's your rumor I just started. That's what I'm hearing. The big expose, the Bush story, if you pardon that expression. And, of course, what's unusual about seeing Bush and Hustler, right? 56705. Here's some of Bush's great quotes, and I thank whoever faxed these to me. You can never have enough of these. These are direct quotes, not something that was made up by Paul Begala or anybody else. All you idiots that keep faxing me this. See, can't debate, and you know what's amazing? They're just like their candidate. You can't dispute the statistics or the facts, so you have to go on the attack like, well, you're just an idiot, you're a fascist, you're a commie, whatever the hell you are. Here's a quote from George Bush, May 20th of 96. Malignancy is something that we should talk about, not in terms of having it. For NASA, space is still a high priority. Quite frankly, teachers are the only profession that teach our children. The American people would not want to know any of my misquotes that George Bush may or may not make. We are all capable of mistakes, but I do not care to enlighten you on the mistakes we may or may not have made. It isn't pollution that's harming this is one of the best. It isn't pollution that's harming the environment. It's the impurities in our air and water that are doing it. That's what your man says. And last night on one of the newscasts, they had a big story on Houston, which I was telling you about myself here yesterday, that I was reading from that Paul Begala book, so it couldn't possibly be true. But there it was on the news about Houston has passed Los Angeles and all the smog and about their threat now with losing $2 billion in federal highway revenue, the state of Texas, unless they clean up their act. And, of course, the big oil refineries, they showed the pictures of them spewing all their crap up into the air, all of George W.'s good buddies. And now I notice they're showing the ads about if you imagine what he's doing in Texas, you can imagine what will happen in the Everglades if he's in the White House. You can't complain about the EPA's policy once he gets in there because there won't be any. 70%, this was on CNBC yesterday, 70% of the CEOs of the major corporations in this country, 70% are for Bush, 3% for Gore, and the other are undecided or somebody else. What does that tell you? And I can't imagine why all those people in big business, all those multimillionaires and billionaires, how dumb can dumb be? And that's going to be my line for the day. How dumb do you have to be that dumb? Huh? As in...
This is 560 QAM. Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale. A Beasley broadcasting station. And WQAM.com for the world.
Okay.
Now, the Aflac casting call.
All right, Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw. Aflac.
Again, Tom?
Aflac.
One more time, Tom. I'm losing the second part. One more. Next! Mike Tyson!
Mike Tyson.
Yes, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Stop saying what I'm saying.
I'll tell you what I'm saying.
Again. Next! Jesse Jackson.
Aflac.
Jesse, I'm sorry, but the duck is white. Next! Woody Allen!
It's nuts. I mean, it's a duck that talks.
Stick to the script, Mr. Allen.
It's crazy. It's insanity.
Read the line, please.
Why would a duck speak?
Next! The great Sean Connery, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Sean Connery.
Welcome, sir. Just read the line, please.
Aflac.
Excuse me, sir, again?
Aflac.
Sir, I'm sorry, that second part of the line I don't...
I'm simply saying Aflac.
Next! Oh, God. I guess we got Gilbert Gottfried over here. All right, give it to me, Gilbert.
Aflac.
One more time, Gilbert.
Aflac.
Well, Gilbert, I pretty much hate you, and I think you're terrible, but you're the closest thing we got. You got the job.
560 WQM. It's Friday. Time to wake up and sniff the coffee, man. Sniff the daffodils. Sniff the pansies. God. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you are a professional and a voice of reason and a sea of Schmidt on the radio.
Yeah.
Listen, my question is, I got 3 points to make. If the liberal media is so liberal, where are they? Because other than your show, I can't find anything on the radio.
Oh, that's another thing. Speaking about radio, you got Fat Ass Limbaugh, you got Ollie North, you got that Gordon Liddy Nazi with a dead rat in his mouth. I mean, who the hell are the liberals on the radio? Anywhere in America.
My brother-in-law,
you got that fascist Dr. Laura, that self-hating Orthodox Jew bitch.
My brother-in-law, he says any media or anyone else who advocates is liberal, you know. And
well, how about all the people I just got you mentioning?
Well, except if anybody is liberal that advocates the government do anything other than restrict personal rights like prayer, abortion, rights, guns.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't tune in the show right away this morning, but did you mention that FIU poll?
Yes, I did.
Okay, about the Gore and Bush.
Yes, I certainly did.
Okay.
64 to 15%. Local Cubans, local non-Cubans, 49% for Gore, 21 for Bush.
Yeah. And then,
all the non-Cubans better get out there and vote 3 or 4 times. In South Florida, we got real problems because those green tooth bastards, they'll be out there voting half a dozen times. And writing in Xavier Suarez again.
Hey, listen, I got some constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Listen, you're always telling us we have no lies and stuff, and I know you make us laugh and everything. But really, on the phone calls, a lot of times you cut off people that I think...
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. We don't do constructive or any other kind of criticism. If you like the show, sir, sit back and enjoy it, and otherwise, see ya. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, I'm the one that sits here and determines how the show goes, and if you're interesting, I'll leave you on. Even if you're interesting in a bizarre way, that's okay. But you, quite frankly, I give you too much time. He was a good guy, but boring. See, one thing you can't be is boring, sir. Your voice was boring. I'm sure you're a wonderful guy. We agree politically, but that doesn't make you interesting. The fact that we agree you're sucking my ass, I mean, that's fine, but enough of the sucking, okay? Boring. Don't take it personal unless you want to. Here's Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm letting you know that I'm voting for Bush.
Yeah. You know something? You could, if you had 4 green cards, they still wouldn't let you vote, okay? Get back on a banana boat. That's one of them. One of them. Oh, by the way, speaking of that poll, 92 votes so far. Generally speaking, which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? Well, in fact, now it's coming, it's refreshing. It's refreshing. Can you smell it? 94 people. Can that be right? Which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? Cubans, 43.
Oh!
New Yorkers, 22.
Oi!
Senior citizens, 9. African-Americans, 8. Rednecks, 5. French-Canadians, 5. Haitians, 2. And look at this. Jamaicans have none.
Yeah, man.
See that? Everybody likes the Jamaicans because they got the good weed, baby. We're not going to piss them off. We're not going to rub them the wrong way. Or the right way, but I mean, nobody wants to piss off the Jamaicans. Trust me when I tell you. That's the way the lay of the land goes right now on that. That's going to be up there all weekend long. I imagine we'll have like 75,000 votes on that, because that's what most people here live for, is to hate everybody else. That's what it's all about. It's a no-brainer. Like George W. No-brainer. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I would ask you about getting some food, but you're trying to lose weight. And, of course, I have this, because that omelet yesterday, it was very good. The one from Bagel High was good. But, wow, must be the butter in there or something. It just goes through like an H-bomb. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I eat in lunchtime every once in a while. I eat at a place called Jimmy's on 441.
I know it very well, yes?
Yeah. I'm in there maybe a couple times a week, and most times that I go in there, there's a guy in there. He's 102 years old. He drives.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
He's in Florida.
Unbelievable. I didn't believe it, and then the waitress got the license out. This guy's 102 years old. Anytime that you don't think that that voting means nothing, these young people are just killing themselves. Because if they don't vote, this kind of crap is going to go on. You know, and I got a lot of apathy as far as the vote goes, too. I don't like anything that's going on. But if you don't vote, these are the kind of people that are going to be running the show.
You got it.
And that's what's going on right now, and that's why these clubs are going to go out. That's why the old people are going to get what they want. And, if you just put your head in the sand and don't vote, that's what you got.
Life is more than MTV, man.
Got that right.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Have a great day. And I mean, right now they're showing there's a George W. on Letterman last night. A lot of young people watch Letterman. How the hell can they not know the names of the two candidates? 25% of 18 to 24-year-olds, not just based on my opinion, based on a poll by CBS and MTV, no less. And 70%, why do I keep repeating it? Does anybody out there care? No, they don't care. This is an old people's place. All you young people, get out of here while you still can, before they put you in camp or something. Get out of here while you still have a life and a little bit of freedom, before it's too late. Fine. And, of course, why should we be knocking them? Because the rest of these people, we've been listening in for weeks now talking about this stuff. The average, what would you say the average IQ is of the people we've talked to the last couple of months?
Beyond.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Maybe a little less than
Beyond.
Oh, the Cubans and New Yorkers, I think, are going to have a battle royal here, and especially with that Subway Series coming up. Anybody care about that Subway Series?
No.
Only the New Yorkers. I would say that only New Yorkers and people who hate New York. Now, of course, if you do hate New York, I mean, you're kind of like law. I hate the Yankees worse than the Mets. Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! And I really don't care, and I probably won't watch much of any of it. I told that to Joe Costello yesterday. He was like crestfallen. I mean, we know he's a psychotic Yankee fan, but he just couldn't believe that a sports nerd like me wouldn't watch the World Series. It's, the word I'm looking for, boring, ponderous. Unlike, of course, now that we got hockey season going.
Ware trying to take it free. Gave it, got it freed up for Thomas. The penalty is over as Sundin comes out with Gary Roberts. Sundin trips across Robert back for Thomas. Going to the Roberts. Sundin scores! Sundin, what a great play! He in very tight quarters lifts it over Salo and the Leafs for the first time this year have 4 in one game.
All right. 9 minutes after 11 at 560 WQM.
I don't believe it. Madonna music. All Madonna's music on sale this week at J-Mart.
You still feel my vibrator. You still feel my pride and joy. But then it's shorted out.
Madonna music.
I want to injure myself playing miniature golf. I want to run as fast as I can, head first into a mailbox. I want to sit on the toilet seat right after John Goodman. Ooh, toasty.
Madonna music at J-Mart. Music.
11:14 at 560 WQAM. Our Purple Parrot water guy, which is the official water of WQAM outside the studio, also manufactures this stuff, cream. Vitamin C, A, E, and antioxidant complex cream, and so the nephew brought some in here. I've been smearing it, and my hands are still there. How do you like that? Huh? Good stuff. Maybe you can drink some. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I just want to tell you this right off the bat. CNN, see, this is a psychology thing. if they tell you that the election is becoming really lopsided and one candidate like Bush is way the hell ahead, then a lot of people will say, what the F, I'm not going to bother going out and voting. That's what's going on right now, because we only got about 2.5 weeks. That's what's happening right now. Make no mistake about it. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
You know, they were talking about there with Limbaugh, G. Gordon, and with Ollie. That don't sound like a bad number 3 line for the Panthers there, you know?
Mm-hmm. We
could probably sign them for a case of assault rifles and maybe some hangers there.
Just strap Limbaugh up in the net. You might stop something.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we ought to put Joe Rose up there because that poor...
Okay, great. Oh, speaking of Joe Rose, I should have told him this in the hallway this morning, but he was having a big sports discussion with Greg Reed, which I found very amusing because they were both saying...
Yeah.
Last night, so it's about 20 after 6, I'm getting ready to punch back to Channel 4, not that I like their news, but I was getting ready to watch Dan Rather at 6:30 on CBS, and by mistake on the remote I hit Channel 6, which I never watch Channel 6 news, because Tony Cigaretto gives me the willies. He's just a silly... He's a sports nerd, and all these years he's trying to be a news guy. Is he a news guy?
No.
You're a silly person, Tony. But anyway, so it was time for the sports with Little Dog. Joe Rose had a sport jacket on. There was 87 size. It must have been the old Dave Gaines sport jacket that was left around in a broom closet somewhere. He must have forgot his jacket because he had on a sport jacket that was like 82 sizes too big. And he kept like, you know, trying to like push it together, and the jacket too. Wow. 5, 6, see, all you people that want to talk about Joe Rose's big head, that's between 6 and 10 in the morning. That's going to be their topic on Monday and all next week, even though we got the Jets and the Dolphins and the World Series. That'll be the topic next week. Richie and all that stuff. See, one good thing about that show is you can turn it on today, yesterday, a week ago, Circus, and it's always Richie from Boar's Head and the Jets and Richie, the Mets. That's it. Did the Jets or the Mets play here?
No.
So, you know, I might have to reconsider my vote. I'm not going to tell you who I voted for on the poll. I might have to start thinking about the New Yorkers. Of course, we know why George don't like the New Yorkers. There's 3 million Jews up there.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I actually want to bring up something here about the difference between Gore and Bush. One of the main things that they talked about was Gore wants to expand government, wants to build a bigger bureaucracy and spend a lot of money.
Says who?
In a debate.
Says Bush?
Well, that's
what Bush says, yes.
Well, that was stated in the debate. Now, how can that...
No, it was stated by Bush. Let me say it again. I mean, it was stated, and that was what Bush said, yes. That's what he keeps saying.
But don't you think that'll pick up the surplus?
First of all, last night on the CBS Evening News, the economists have examined both of their plans in terms of spending the proposed big surplus that we may have or may not. And Gore's is way exaggerated. We'd have a minimal amount of that left over, and Bush's would put us back in the red again. How do you like that?
Well, Bush is giving tax breaks.
Sir, let me say it again. Are you a millionaire?
No.
Well, what are you going to do with that 60 cents a day?
I'm going to get a 55% tax cut.
You're going to get what?
A 55% tax cut, according to Bush.
I saw those commercials. Oh, you must have seen those commercials. Yeah, okay, well, spend it wisely. See, and he didn't respond to what I just asked him, because he can't. You're going to get 60 cents a day. Wow. How many diet sodas can you buy for that? It depends on the soda machine. Maybe like 3/5. Wouldn't surprise me if George is working on a 5th right now. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. See, he didn't respond at all to what I said. I mean, I'm not just talking out of my ass or some political rhetoric. They had it right there. They've studied it. Nonpartisan. And Gore's exaggerating, as politicians always do. And exaggeration is one of his specialties, but exaggerating the surplus that we'd have, but at least it would be in the green, a fraction of what he claims, but we'd have money left over. Bush, his modest budget increase would be in the red, because he's taking all that money out of Social Security, giving the gigantic tax cuts to the 1% wealthiest people in the country, including me, which I'll pass on that. See, I'm like this last asshole who all he cares about is allegedly how much he thinks he's getting, which he's wrong, selfish. I'm not interested in that. I could make back saving in tax money more than Norma Kant lost for me on the... See, you didn't hear that? No. I'm not saying it again. I said Norma Kant, but instead of... yeah. Oh, there was a U in there. Well, I didn't finish the word. But it would have been good. It would have been appropriate. I said the tax cuts would make me... I couldn't say it. Then he lost me with his incompetence with sending all those letters and getting these people all stirred up, the Musleys. But I'm not going to do it because I'm not willing to take a few $1,000s or a whole bunch of thousands of dollars and exchange that for personal liberties for millions of people in this country, not just me, but for women and all other minorities and anybody with a brain. I'm not willing to sell out the Supreme Court and all the federal judgeships for a goddamn tax break, which is going to be a hell of a lot more than you're going to get, pal. I'm talking maybe 60, 70, 80 grand a year it would save me, being in the 40% tax bracket. So if you only want to be selfish and that's all you care about is me, then go right ahead, if that's where you're coming from. Here's a mobile in Hallandale. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing? First
Okay.
time, long time.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I'd like to tell you about a shocking little incident I had yesterday when I came home from work.
Yeah.
I had to stop by the grocery store, the Publix, on East Hallandale Beach Boulevard, and they had, they had I think you call them a sukkah, you know, the little shack that the Jews go and pray.
Oh, I remember that song by the Archies, the Sukkah Shack, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, they had one of those set up in the parking lot, and they had some Hasidic Jews, and they had a woman, and they were doing some kind of blessing. They were holding fruit, and they were
holding a
palm
fruit?
leaves. I swear, I've never been so shocked in my entire life.
Yeah.
And everybody that was going in and out of the Publix, they were stopping them, asking them if they would like to pray.
Did they know Jew Lieberman?
I don't know. They must have. I went in and I complained to the manager. I said, you know, do we have to be accosted by religious freaks, you know, when I come shopping here? And he says, well, that's not my call.
No, it's not his call. In other words, he's terrified to piss off the Hasidim.
Well, he doesn't want to be called an anti-Semite.
Uh-huh.
So I just figured I'd let you know about that.
Okay. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. Oh, here's a bunch of quotes attributed to Al Gore. Well, guess what? We're not reading those on the air. Well, it sounds like you're presenting a one-sided picture. That's right. That's correct. That's absolutely, positively correct. But we do have a fax coming in that talks about how the Bush family made their money from financing Hitler during the 1940s. I haven't read it yet, but that might be kind of interesting. Yeah. Sounds like one-sided propaganda. Yeah, right. Now you're catching on. We have to have like a few hours a week of it to counteract all that crap from the liberal media, fat-ass Limbaugh, and Dr. Laura, and G. Gordon Liddy, and Ollie, I never stole a freight train from the Contras North. And, of course, Daddy Bush, he didn't know nothing about that. He wasn't in on that Iran-Contra deal. He didn't know nothing about that. Because we had to build up the military for the Shah. He didn't know nothing about that. Here's Deerfield Beach. Hello.
I was going to ask you if you think you have any right-wing, greedy Republican pigs listening to your show, but that caller, a couple of calls back.
I have lots of them. I get all these faxes, and most of them are filled with hate and psychosis, and then I get some from people who don't think I'm liberal enough who are filled with hate and psychosis, because if they don't agree with you, you're a bastard, you know.
Well, I got a message for these right-wing pigs, and as to why we despise you and loathe you as much as we do. It's because of your obsession with other people's genitalia.
Yeah.
Like you've been obsessing over Clinton's weenie for 7 or 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the latest about the Rolling Stone magazine cover?
About what?
Rolling Stone, well, next Monday, Rolling Stone is coming out with a feature on Al Gore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not kidding you now. Limbaugh, that fat pig, spent 3 hours on this yesterday.
Yeah.
C-SPAN devoted at least 25 minutes this morning with the callers. The Republicans are claiming that they airbrushed his genitalia to make it look bulging in the picture.
Yeah, I had a fax about that yesterday. I wouldn't have wasted my time on here talking about it. What's the point?
Well, the point of it is, this is just the kind of...
Well, they're obsessed with genitalia. They have a penis thing. That's their whole thing.
Exactly right. Other people's penises.
Right.
And I just wanted to let them know that...
Just like the guy I read about the other day that up in Georgia that was fondling the cop, that right-wing goody two-shoes focus on the Family Guy that was arrested for fondling the cop in the park.
Hypocrites.
And just like James Dobson's buddy there, the Trout guy, who admitted that he had an affair and had to resign his post, so to speak.
Yep.
Have a great day, pal.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that. They alleged that they airbrushed Gore's penis. Now, let me ask you this. I mean, Gore's what, about 7'9", something like that? Yeah, he could. That's why he was so good against Bill Bradley. He was looking down at him. So you know, I mean, just by accident, that Gore's penis has got to be, what, 3-4 times bigger than Bush, yeah. In fact, maybe Bush, well, 5670560, pound 560. You know, they always say, what's in the name? Pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out of town, like in Fort Myers, baby. Are you people over there voting for crying out loud? Have you got a brain in your head except for that right wing, right-wing redneck that sent me that fax this morning? That jackass in North Fort Myers? Is that all you got over there is a bunch of Bible-quoting assholes? What the hell am I talking about this morning? Well, I'm just too full of it. These glasses. Bible folding. I thought I said the right thing. 1-877-785-6345. Oh, Vito, is there an election coming up? See, we shouldn't be knocking them because they at least got that fascist McDougal out over there, which is more I can say for you idiots up in Broward County. No, we love the sheriff. We love Ken Jenny. We like people who look like a possum. He ought to play possum is what he ought to do. Hang from the goddamn tree limb outside your house and play possum. He's probably doing that right now. Him and he play Shaw. Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, Sun Sentinel, here's another example. The liberal media. Yeah. The Sun Sentinel, which is owned by the very ultra-conservative Chicago Tribune Company, of course. Who do they endorse this morning for Congress? Do they endorse Elaine Bloom? No. Do they endorse the unctuous Clay Shaw? I bet your sweet ass they did. Oh, there's more of that liberal media again. Yeah. Uh-huh. You should live so long. Paranoid, delusional, crazy people. Probably ate too many of those burgers. 26 after 11 at 560 WQM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Come on.
Hillary Clinton's approval ratings really high. Anyone explain what the reason is why? No one election or held office in life. I guess it comes down to being Billy's wife. Where have you gone, Ricky Lazio? Are you in the witness protection plan? Man, where have you gone, Ricky Lazio? You've become the invisible man. Get a plan, for God's sakes, man.
Good week about Joe DiMaggio, speaking about Joltin' Joe. In Newsweek this week, excerpts from the book about Joe DiMaggio and about Morris Engelberg up there in Hollywood. And allegedly all those balls that Morris brought in there for Joe to sign, and Joe, of course, was coughing up blood and yada, all that good stuff. Pretty interesting. Almost as interesting as this fax we just got that says, did you hear that next week Tipper Gore is going on the presidential campaign with her husband? To prepare herself, she shaved off all the hair from her private parts. She'll now sit on the stage with him and have her legs apart without any panties on. Her message, read my lips, no more Bush. Well, I guess we're not having lunch now, huh? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wire. And I hasten to add that she makes me nauseous. She makes me want to barf. I'm not, that would be a good question. Who's more obnoxious, Hadassah or Tipper Gore? Wow, that's tight. I mean, here's a payphone in Naples. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, Neil?
Okay.
Listen, guy, it's great to hear your show. I've only been listening to you since you've been back on from vacation.
Really?
Yes, sir. I really enjoy your show. Neil, I just...
Well, they're always belly aching about they take us off in that noon to 1 hour over there, but we get very little response from over there on the West Coast. I mean, you could put it in a thimble.
What happens, Neil, is on 770 at noon they go to Fat Boy Limbaugh.
Yeah, we know that.
And
no, they don't go to Fat Boy Limbaugh. They go to some stock show. They don't have
that also, and then they have Rush later on. It makes me vomit. But anyway, Neil, thank God for you. I have to go to 560 on the AM to get the rest of your show. It comes in kind of crappy, but it still comes in. Thank God for that. Neil, real quick, I just wanted to say, hey, reflect on what Jeb Bush has done for the state of Florida. I mean, all these Republicans, okay, let me tell you something. You trying to get a Republican in there? Let's take one that's already in there running our state. And I'm a native Floridian, by the way, Neil. Love your show. And Neil, hey, man, I love pro football. Is it really a gay sport, brother?
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the call. Love you.
Five 5670560, saying I pushed for a call from the West Coast. I have nobody to blame but myself. We have nothing to fear but the West Coast itself. Here's Pompano Beach. Hello.
Hey, Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Bush, we don't see enough Bush and Gore in Hollywood, do we?
Meaning?
Well, anyway, the other caller spoke up about genitalia.
I finally sunk in. Yeah. Moving right along.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think in the new form, they had to hook up some electrodes to their...
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines, and we search for a real call. We're searching, we're looking. Here's Delray Beach. Hello. Delray Beach. Breathing. I was going to say living and breathing, but I think that might be an exaggeration. Delray Beach, last call. Going once. Here's Kendall. Hello. Kendall.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, sir?
Neil, I want to thank the Disney for keeping you in Miami. I want to point out something, Neil. There's one thing that the country agree on. The economy, and they don't like neither of the candidates, right?
Uh-huh.
There's one thing I have confidence in Al Gore. He wants to be president. I think he would want to be president for 8 years. And when he says he's going to wait for us, I believe that. That's the one thing I believe for him. Another thing I would like to point out. Do you think Baba could come out and campaign for him? Will he help him?
So what are you talking about?
Clinton. If he comes out and campaign for Gore.
He's busy hocking a Chinook with that schmata head back and forth. He's busy running around doing stuff. And Gore doesn't want him too close. 567-0560, pound 560. And Bubba isn't too happy about that either, I should mention. Pound 560 on the AT&T Verizon line. I'm not giving that West Coast number anymore. Not after that call from Naples. No mas. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Leo.
Yes, sir.
In the Valley of Jehoshaphat, there's going to be a battle between the Trilateral Commission and Area 51.
Uh-oh.
And Area 51.
And Nishmit and Abednego.
And Jehoshaphat is going to win.
Yeah.
And guess what else, Neil?
Which game is he starting?
I guess he's back in
with
Yankees.
With El Duque, yeah.
Yeah, on Duque.
Okay. 567-0560. Oh, this is good. This is really good. I think that Castro's got that woodpecker going again, you know? I was thinking that the other day when I was watching those crazy people driving around that I was discussing yesterday. I mean, driving like lunatics. I mean, not just usual crap, but like extra bad crap they were driving. And I thought, I bet you that woodpecker's going again. Because these people are acting nuts. Here's Parkland. Hello.
Yeah, that report about Al Gore came out of a place called Voter.com, and yesterday the report was that he had an erection.
What report are you talking about?
About the so-called erection in Al Gore's pants on the cover.
Well, let me ask you, who cares?
Well, you know, but I just wanted to say how...
I'd rather vote for somebody who can get it up, you know?
Yeah, C-SPAN didn't report that. That was the Fox News network that reported that.
Well, that figures.
You know why? Because all those Republicans, that's all they care about is penis, penis, penis. They ought to change it to the Penis News Network.
Uh-huh. Well, I hear they got a bunch of pricks working there at Fox. That's what I'm hearing. Rhymes with schlocks. 567-0560, pound 560. This is today, so far, it's not even noon yet. I would say that you win the prize today. Wouldn't you agree? This is the dumbest bunch of goofballs I've ever heard in my life. And you're picking on the 18 to 24-year-olds. They don't know. You know something? I think that they're the ones that ought to be allowed to vote. Because the less they know, maybe the less dangerous they are.
Oh, you're wrong, Neil. We're really into this, and we're going to get the condo vote out. You know, all those old farts in the condo.
Yeah, that's the problem. All the green-toothed Cubans. Those are the people who are going to go out and vote. That's why pretty soon the legal drinking age in Fort Lauderdale is going to be 80. And it's only going to be for, like, prune juice. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, couple of things. In the August 14th edition of the New Republic...
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bush said that he will not appoint any openly gay person to his cabinet. He also approves...
Well, do you think the public is concerned about that?
He also approves of anti-sodomy laws in Texas.
Right.
The Birmingham News on October 14th reported that 10 Vietnam veterans are offering $1,000 to anyone with proof that Bush served in the Alabama National Guard. For that year,
he never showed up. He was AWOL. He just didn't show up.
Right, and they're offering a bounty to anyone who can prove that he did show up. A poll came out 2 days ago showing Gore up in Florida by 2 points, 47-45.
Mm-hmm.
The Gallup poll that you cited earlier in your program.
Yes.
If you go to their website, Gallup.com, and look at the internals of that poll, it is weighted towards the Republicans. There are an equal percentage of Democrats and Republicans voting for their respective candidates, and there's just a few percentage points difference between the independents, 40 to 36. So it's weighted towards the Republicans. There are more
Well,
Republicans.
that's because it's a Gallup poll. I've been saying that right from the beginning. George Gallup, who I'm sure is dead by now, but he was a notorious Republican sympathizer, and his polling organization has always leaned to the right, and still does.
Well,
so it's amazing how CBS, as late as yesterday, says that their poll shows that Gore's ahead 43 to 42 points, and the Electoral College is 3 points ahead, and CNN all of a sudden out of nowhere, the poll keeps bouncing, and all of a sudden yesterday out of nowhere it's 10 points ahead for Bush. Nobody believes that.
And
even the Bush people don't believe that.
Well, the Zobby Reuters MSNBC tracking poll, which came out today, shows it's a dead even race, 44-44.
That is absolutely correct. And
So
like I said before, what they're trying to do is to scare off the Gore people.
Exactly,
So if they
exactly.
think that Bush is ahead 12, and then we've been talking about this last night. If people think that Bush is way ahead and it's going to be a landslide, why bother to vote? Of course, that's what they're trying to play.
They want to discourage Democratic.
Well, I'm voting 10 times now because I'm pissed
Well,
off.
I'm voting 20 times.
All right.
All right.
See you there. Start pissing a right-wing goyim. I mean, 5670560, pound 560. Look at that poll. I don't want to... Oh, George is going to be upset. Well, he doesn't take it personally. He's not one of them. They think he's a turncoat anyway.
I had nothing to do with it.
Comunista, maricón. 106, what is it, 156 votes? Cuban, which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? Generally speaking. Cubans, 78. New Yorkers, 34. Senior citizens, 17. Boy, they got off easy. African-Americans, 13. Rednecks, 12. French-Canadians, 10. Haitians, 2. And Jamaicans, still. Hey! Like that. Jamaicans, we love them.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of the Dolphins, our Dave Joseph talked to Yentl Green.
The problem is you're not talking to your son. You barely say 2 words to him, then you call me.
One full hour of the hottest talk on radio. The doctor is in.
Masturbate, okay?
Okay.
All right, masturbate and call me back in a couple of weeks.
Dr. Visco.
Hello, you're on the air with Dr. Visco, and how may I help?
Dr. Visco?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, listen, I'm in a lot of pain.
Sure.
I'm bleeding.
Sure.
My arm is bleeding.
Sure.
And,
I am not that kind of doctor. Are you familiar with Dr. Dean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should be calling Dr. Dean's show. He could help you out with that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So do that. And listen, while you're on hold, masturbate.
Okay.
Alrighty?
Dr. Visco, weekdays at noon.
11:45 at 560 WQM. We got Hank Goldberg at 2. We got the Dave Ronstadt Show with Hank between 5 and 6. Luke Shabby, 6 o'clock. Panthers at the Avalanche. Pregame 8:30. The game at 9 o'clock tonight as the Panthers desperately seek to win their first victory of the season. And I do mean desperate. I don't want to say that the Murray boys might be getting like a little bit paranoid, nervous, and tricky, but it's going to be a tough assignment out there tonight. Here's a hate fax from, this is a new fake name, Bill Parker in Miami. Remember the one we had the other day? Hate fax. It's a beautiful thing to sit here and listen to all the liberals running scared at the... I'm glad to hear that it's a beautiful thing listening to the show, Bill Parker, a.k.a. whatever your real name is, running scared at the prospect of decency and morality occupying the White House instead of slaves. See, I always look at guys, cokeheads and the drunks, as decent, moral guys. That's what I always thought about. Plus guys whose daddies, no read my lips, no new taxes. I was sleeping in the cabinet meeting to Iran-Contra and knew nothing about it. All of those lies. Not to mention the lies about the Patient's Bill of Rights in Texas that he just told again the other night for the 80 millionth time. I'm also sure you're glad you can almost make a fist with your hand, Neil. That means you can resume wrapping it around that limp prick of yours between trips to Amsterdam where you get serviced by the young boys. Well, first of all, Bill, I hate to break the news to you. It's the wrong hand. That's number one. And number two, what time does that start? And where do I meet him? 567-0560, pound 560. See exactly what you expect. You're all the same, baby. You're all the same. You're all cut out of the same cloth. You're a bunch of goody two-shoes. And probably Bill right now is getting serviced by young boys, or wishes that he was, or young girls, or both. Maybe Bill was down there in that big whore ring they had in Kendall. Maybe Bill's a cop. What do you say, huh? Doesn't surprise me. Or maybe Bill would just like to cop a feel. Here's Delray Beach. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir?
Neil?
Yes, I am.
How are you today?
Okay.
In regards to the Beasley watch, what's the stock at now?
But last time I checked, it was hovering right around 9.
Okay, when it gets to 10, can I get a new radio signal? Because I can't even hear you in my office anymore. You want to hear?
Yeah, go ahead.
How was that?
See, if I do that during the show, then maybe you'll feel like, you're not cheated that way.
I know. I wanted to...
Yeah, our signal sucks. Can you imagine if this show was on FM? We'd have a 30 share if we were on FM. We'd have a 90 share.
Well, it starts out strong and then it goes weak. I guess it depends
well, me too.
What the weather is. Well, I was calling about, did you see, when you saw the debate, when that guy asked him about the death penalty?
Yeah.
I think that turned it for him. That's when he got all nervous that these people were going to ask real questions, and then all of a sudden he had to come up with an answer, and he didn't even answer that.
But how come Gore didn't come back instead of wimping out like he so often does, and, well, I'm all for the death penalty, too, and all this crap because he's terrified to do another Michael Dukakis? Why didn't he point out the fact that he didn't execute, they're not executing 3, as the governor had said in the previous debate, they're executing 2 of the 3 in that lynching in Texas? Another lie by George W.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me is that I don't know who's advising him, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing all these inconsistencies. The man hasn't given a press conference, and Bush hasn't given a press conference in over a month. But he's not answering any questions, because if he answers any questions, people are going to see that he's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore he might just walk across.
If they haven't seen he's stupid by now, what makes you think they're ever going to see it?
I don't know, Neil. I don't know. But anyway, as soon as it gets up to 10, let me know so I can start listening to you again.
Okay.
Either that or put me on hold forever.
Inhale right now.
Okay.
Okay, we'll let you know when to exhale. Not soon. Here's some more quotes from the great intellect, George W. He says, I believe we're on an irreversible trend toward more freedom and democracy, but that could change. It's an irreversible trend, but that could change. I have made good judgments in the past. I have made good judgments in the future. The future will be better tomorrow. We're going to have the best educated American people in the world. To Sam Donaldson on June 17th, 1993, I stand by all the misstatements that I've made. I am not part of the problem. I'm a Republican. And here is the one really profound. I want you to just grab the edge of your seat, grab your thing, whatever you got, and listen very closely to this, because it doesn't get too much more profound than this. A low voter turnout is an indication of fewer people going to the polls. All right, let's hear it for George W. Yeah. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. How's our poll coming? 193 votes. Generally, which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? Cubans, 90. Wow. Can that be right? It says 90. New Yorkers, 38. Senior citizens, 21. African-Americans, 13. Rednecks, 12. French Canadians, 12. Haitians, 6. Oh, no, look at that. Jamaicans, 1. There's one guy getting movie this weekend, I'll tell you that. Maybe he's got some Colombian connection. Or maybe he's on his way to Amsterdam. Here's Plantation, hello.
You're gay.
Oh, how weak. How boring. Here's Sunrise, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
And you can give me a hint if you don't want to come out right and say it. What do you think what happened to the governor last week?
What do I think happened? I think he died in a plane crash. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. Out of town is open, and that's probably just as well after that horrendous call we had from that drunken sailor over there in Naples. 877-785. No, seriously, and you know something? He's perfect. That guy that called before, with all due respect to the people listening on the West Coast, he is the West Coast. That guy from Naples that called before, the mugwump, the incoherent mugwump, that's the West Coast. How often have you ever been over there? I mean, you remember the time we went to Tampa for a week? Remember that? And they were all running around with the orange and purple hair and the, one finger in their nose and one in their rectum. That's the West Coast of Florida. And you know something? We thank you very much, first of all, for getting rid of your Nazi sheriff, which shows that you're not as bad as we thought you were, and maybe a little more politically astute than a lot of old farts over here. And number 2, we thank you for being such a bunch of mugwumps, because it makes us feel better about ourselves over here, because this ain't so great. That big penis you love. That's why some of these right-wingers come down here. Because like the guy said before, the right-wingers are obsessed with penis. Oh, God. In fact, when John Penis left from our sales department, they were foaming at the mouth. Or it's somewhere. Squirt, squirt. They were foaming. North Miami, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Pretty good.
I want to talk to you about the tax cut that George W. proposed. Do you believe that really he's going to give those people a tax cut?
Yes. Well, you believe I mean, he can't do it. Congress would have to be partners in crime. And, of course, if you have a Republican Congress, then that's when they can slip it through.
Well, I think apple doesn't go far from the tree. I don't think he will do it. And if he's going to do it, he's not going to do it the way he's really talking about.
Yeah.
He's buying votes and all those ignorant people.
But he doesn't have to buy those votes because, first of all, the ultra-rich, most of them already vote for him anyway.
Well, he's making a bigger issue now, Gore, regarding the middle-class people, you know.
Yeah.
He's catching them by telling them, I'm going to give you the tax cut. I'm going to give you so much money
He's
back.
going to give them 60 cents a day, and in the lower class, they're going to get 11 cents a day. That's pretty heavy duty.
Well, I mean,
that means once a week, the poor people can buy 3/4 of a diet soda. That's right.
I agree with you, Neil. Keep going.
Okay, vote several times, pal. 7 or 8. We'll show those bastards what they can do. And I thank the guy that called before about the MSNBC, the real poll. I'm telling you right now, don't be swayed, and now we understand why fewer and fewer people are watching CNN, because it's a bunch of propaganda. Other than Bill Press, who coincidentally was out in L.A. and not on the show last night, which he should have been on there. Other than him, name me one other liberal, and please don't tell me that silly guy with the glasses. What's his name, that the comic, the one that plays the piano and thinks he's the Tom Lehrer? You know what I'm talking about. They had him on there with
Steve Allen.
No, he does not. Well, I guess now he does. Like a wrinkled up old prune head Steve Allen, which he is. Mr. Censorship. I can't think of his name. Thinks he's a real... He hasn't said anything funny in his life, this guy. And they're using him to be the liberal, the counterpart, Novak. No, they only got Bob Novak on 50 different shows on that goddamn channel. You're a bunch of fascists on there on CNN. And, of course, the only other Jew they got on there is, liberal, who's too busy sucking everybody's ass to really know to say anything, including Ross Perot, who he tried to foist on you 4 years ago and 8 years ago. In fact, it was pretty interesting because he was trying so hard to get him in there, he had him on 9 times a week. Yeah, which is pretty hard on the show that in those days was only on 5 times a week. He had him on 9 times every week. Still couldn't get him in there. Nice going, Larry. Phony, ass sucker. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How
you
doing?
Okay.
Well, no, I think I'm living in a parallel universe.
Yes.
I mean, I consider myself a fairly intelligent person. I don't think I'm in my Alzheimer's stages yet. But my perception...
This must be, what do they call it? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
My perceptions of what I see, for example, if I had just turned down the sound and watched the debates, I would have seen a man who looked presidential, and I would have seen another man who looked like he should be running for stupid
man who looked presidential? Which one was that?
You'll just have to guess.
I didn't see anybody look presidential.
Well, let me just give you the other side of it.
That's all relative, of course.
And one who looked like he should be running for the president of his fraternity,
the
student government.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's what scares me. This is why I think I'm living in a parallel universe. They did an internal poll, and in September, 40% of the people said the economy, foreign policy, and issues mattered. This last poll in October, this was a bipartisan poll, said that 45% of the people polled said moral character and leadership.
Yeah.
Were more important.
That did a few lines that was drunk.
Was the one who
He's the moral guy.
leadership.
That's right. Well, most Americans can relate to a good drunk. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out of town, we're not giving that number because you're going to that stupid stock show anyway on the West Coast. And, if you're upset that I said you're a bunch of mugwums, too bad. Now, we got some nice people over there, half a dozen, 20 or 30, 10. Hey, Pizza Loft is a place, I said it the other day, I'll say it again. And speaking of Pizza Loft, before I go into the big spiel here about why it's so great, how come Jeff Cohen, where is he? What's the story with him? Is he going to Amsterdam or not? Because you've got to know. He's not going?
I forgot he answered that a long time ago, and I forgot the question.
He's
probably over the weekend.
Well, so why didn't you see these messages? You're too busy abusing the Jews with those goddamn fake guests of yours, and you don't tell me the important stuff. I have to cancel those reservations.
Well, he called me like in the middle of the night, like on Saturday night or something.
Well, maybe he was had a bush or two, huh?
I was baked off my ass.
I hear he's in the bush, but anyway.
I remember he said no.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station, and WQAM.com for the world.
Neil Rogers, we want to go now to your closing statements. Governor Bush is first.
Thank you, Jim. What I care about is failure. And you know what? It can happen in America with the right kind of leadership. Surely this nation can come together to encourage doctors to take the lives of our seniors.
Can I comment on that? I would sign a law banning that procedure. If I'm entrusted with the presidency, here are the choices that I will make. I'll cut health care, prescription drugs, education, and national defense, put our budget into deficit, raise interest rates, and put our prosperity...
I can't let the man continue with...
I believe that Governor Bush is a national asset. Correct, but
That's just totally false. Wait a minute, it's just totally false. For him to stand up here and say that
Thank you, Governor Bush. Vice President Gore.
Nice job. Okay, 1202 at 560 WQAM. Here's the facts. Don't lose your rights. Vote for the First Amendment interest on November 7, 2000 from the Coalition for Freedom of Speech. It says your vote can help stop censorship. Your right to purchase or rent adult entertainment or video products, to access adult websites, and to visit adult nightclubs will be greatly affected by this year's election. How do you like that?
Absolutely correct, sir.
Vote for candidates who support the First Amendment with more liberal views on these matters. That's right. As much as a lot of you don't like it out there, this is the liberal freaking crowd, okay? We're making a comeback. Kiss my ass if you don't like it. Speaking of kiss, cab driver picks up a nun. She gets into the cab, and the cab driver won't stop staring at her. She asks him why he's staring, and he replies, I have a question to ask you, but I don't want to offend you. She answers, my dear son, you can't offend me. When you're as old as I am and have been a nun as long as I have, you get a chance to see and hear just about everything. I'm sure that there's nothing you could say or ask that I would find offensive. Well, I've always had a fantasy to have a nun kiss me, he says. She responds, well, let's see what we can do about that. Number one, you have to be single, and number two, you must be Catholic. The cab driver is very excited and says, yes, I'm single and I'm Catholic too. The nun says, okay, pull into the next alley. He does, and the nun fulfills his fantasy. But when they get back on the road, the cab driver starts crying. My dear child, said the nun, why are you crying? Forgive me, sister, but I've sinned. I lied, I must confess, I'm married and I'm Jewish. The nun says, that's okay. I'm on the way to a Halloween party and my name is Kevin. Not bad. I give that about an 8.5 on a scale of 10. Oh! What's up, Kevin? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Oh, that was a really good joke.
Not bad, yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to vote thanks to some obscure law. I just called the voter registration and said, I need to get a new voting card. Moved out of state here.
Oh, too late.
And they said, October 10th was the cutoff time.
That's correct, yeah.
Well,
it's not an obscure law. I mean, that's the law. That's the deadline.
Why?
Well, because that's the way it is, because they want to make it tougher for people to vote. See, no, but seriously, how come we have Groundhog Day and Columbus Day and President's Day, all these national holidays and these marginal days, and how come on Election Day people have to go to work? And you want to know why? Because they don't want everybody to vote.
Well, I can believe it now, because a lot of people wait till the last minute to vote, and why shouldn't they have them register up until the day before?
Absolutely correct.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, go ahead and vote anyway. Tell them I said it's okay.
I think I will.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye. Yeah, what kind of crap is that we have, national holidays, everybody's off from school on like Martin Van Buren's birthday and all this other crap. What number president was Martin Van Buren, George?
12th. I used to be able to recite them in order.
8.
But then I started smoking dope.
Yeah. 5670560. Maybe the reason that we had the Hayes Commission was because Rutherford B. Hayes stole the election in 1876. Maybe that was the problem. And then they asked one of the talking heads on CNN before, well, could that happen again this time? Oh, no, absolutely not. You're so full of crap, it's coming out of your ears, man. Very easily, as close as this is, one of these guys could win the popular vote and lose in the Electoral College. You think the Electoral College might be Yale? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. I'm so tired of giving those numbers out, I could just puke my guts all over the goddamn console here. I could puke my lungs out. Here it is, the 20th of October. And these people are just, this town will always, and then you see this poll? That's why during the Alien time, we couldn't buy an open line. Because the only three things they care about here is Alien and the Cuban crap, is hating the Cubans. Number 2 is free crap, and number 3 is Jews. That's in Israel. That's why you had all those calls on Friday. See, if I was smart, I'd talk about Israel again today, huh? No, I will not talk about Israel. I will not care about Israel. Oh, you can't do that, goddammit! Well, that's just the way it is. Oh, you should go there. No. I'm going to say it again. If I want to see a tremendous number of Jews, I live in Plantation Acres right near Sunrise. All I have to do is drive about 2-3 blocks, and I see all the Jews I want. Or I just go to a hockey game at the Anto Center. That's all we got in there is about 90% Jews, which is why it's real good planning over there, all you geniuses in the organization, playing all those games in and around the Jew holidays. That's pretty smart. And they wonder why nobody's showing up. Here's Miami. Hello.
Oh, yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Man.
I've got a new saying for you. Il ne pas seulement Leo, il est un démocrate. You remember that?
Yeah.
Hey, a couple weeks ago.
Wait, let me play it. Where the hell is it? One moment, please. Oh, here it is.
Il n'est pas seulement Hank Goldberg, il est un hippopotame. I put a new twist on this one for you, though.
It was sweet.
Anyway, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the inadequacies in doctor's offices.
Yes?
I tried to get through, but I couldn't.
In the doctor's office, yeah?
That's right. But if you listen to that, she puts the lotion in the basket bit, you'll see that all this woman is worried about is getting an appointment for this freak.
Right, that's right.
She puts the lotion in the basket.
Well, I'm going to play it after the break just so everyone can hear that. That's a good point.
It's incredible. All she wants to do, she doesn't mind that the guy's a creep. She doesn't mind that he wants a bodysuit.
And she's got no problem telling him how much it costs.
Exactly. She just wants to make the appointment. So right. If she couldn't see through that, man, these people are idiots, all of them.
There you go.
Anyway, you have a good show. See you later.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. We're starting to heat up a little now. Can you smell it? Yeah, starting to get a couple of calls. That almost makes some sense. Although we can't top that call from Naples. That was my favorite. Was he in the phone booth or maybe he was in the bag? It sounded like to me. Well, what else are they going to do over there? What do you think of a guy that goes to Vegas and plays golf? I don't want to pick on Scott Pullman again because their food is great. And we did make up. And how come, you notice how Fat Boy hasn't dared waddle in here since then? I don't want him in here. I also don't want that Frank in here, that asshole that was in here this morning. And finally, after we ripped him for days and days, brought some cigars, not even the ones that I like. Those are those big Monica kind. Why don't you people please, I'm begging you, tell our good friends Nick and Mike and all the people at Nick Cigars, I know a lot of you shop there, that this guy, just kick him out next time. Don't give him any more cigars. He is stealing and probably selling our cigars in street corners.
He brought 10 from the box of 25.
From the box of 25, which he lifted the other 15. And these are the Monica ones. They're big enough you could use them for a goddamn elephant depository.
Rectum.
Exactly. Which probably is what Frank is doing with him, because he's all ass.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
It's Friday, you bastard.
Everybody's taking a brand new pill now. No more babies, take a pill abortion. If there's something inside of you making you ill now. No more babies, take a pill abortion. No doctor visit, it's too easy to do. You just pop on a page if the stick turns blue. So come on, take the pill abortion by me.
Oh, yeah, the fetus huggers are lining up. They're just repeating a piece now on CNN they showed yesterday because they want to keep propagandizing 24 hours a day about the Catholics, who usually are strong Democratic voters. But this year, many of them are going to be defecting and voting for W because of abortion. There you go. The fetus huggers. So when you generally look at the ultra-rich and intolerant religious nuts, that's the Bush crowd. Now, if that's what you are, you fit into one of those categories. If you're like a multimillionaire or you're an intolerant religious asshole, a hate monger, there's your man. Just like Gore said the other night in the debate. There he is. Dumbo, without the trunk. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I appreciate what your show and everything. I like what you say all the time, although I don't agree with you always.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to weigh in on the taxes idea. First of all, there's neither of those guys that I want to vote for. They're both.
That's true. They both suck. That is right.
That's for sure. But on the taxes, the one thing that I do know is any money that goes to Washington, and the more of it that goes to Washington, the more waste and the more corruption that there is. And if we can get a little bit more back in our pocket, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And the two numbers that stick out for me, first of all, as far as the rich,
know where this is going. Yeah,
is you'd be considered in the rich and almost on the ultra rich.
Sir, I don't vote for selfish reasons financially. That's not a way to cast your vote. If that's the thing that motivates you, I don't do that.
I agree with you. But
Now, if you want a guy who's going to let his friends in big business rape the public, say it again, the Philip Morris Tobacco Company is the #1 contributor to the Bush campaign. #3 contributor is the National Rifle Association, and #4 are the pharmaceutical companies. If you want big business to continue raping, you're talking about putting more money back in the pockets of the public. Who is he kidding? They're going to be raping the public, not to mention polluting the environment, and doing whatever big business wants to do. He's going to give them a free ride.
I'm not voting for Bush either, but all I'm talking is on.
Well, then what are you talking about?
No, on the taxes point. I think that at least in his tax plan, some of the money comes back to the people.
And as they showed last night on CBS Evening News, a nonpartisan economics group did the study on both plans, and Bush's plan, if he would enact it, which would never happen, but if he did, would put us back in a deficit again. They worked for 8 years to get us out of debt, and now he wants to put us back in the red again.
First of all, both of it has political rhetoric to it all over it. I mean, none of them are going to do it.
You're not listening to what I just said, sir. You're not listening to a word that I'm telling you.
I'm listening, Neil, but I don't agree with you. That's
it's not. What I just said isn't something to agree or disagree on. It's something. It's a fact.
It's not a fact.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. It's not a fact. So it's fuzzy math again, numbers, fuzzy numbers. The only thing fuzzy was George W.'s hairdo. Yeah, warm and fuzzy. 5, 6, see, this is the kind of guy that, how do you deal with a guy like this? I'm trying to have a discussion. He's entitled to do what he wants or say what he wants. I'm giving him plenty of time. But it's not a fact. The fact is whatever this guy thinks, that's a fact. I didn't say that Gore was giving 100% accurate. That he's exaggerating too, because, like we said, that's one of his specialties, is exaggeration. But at least his plan, if enacted, would leave a surplus. Bush's puts us in a deficit again. Yeah, good answer. 567-0560. Pound 5. Even Richard Dawson never heard such a good answer. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello. Mobile implantation. Okay, must have died. Here's a lady mobile in Weston. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice to meet you. The only thing scarier than Halloween is the fact that 1 week later Satan could get elected. And I've been listening to you. I'm a fairly new listener, and I don't know whether you've brought this point up or not. But did you know that how Bush brags about being in going to Vietnam, or flying fighter planes or whatever the hell it was he did? Did you know that when he applied in Texas to be in the reserve? Or the National Guard, that there was a waiting list of 100,000 because nobody wanted to go to Vietnam. Everyone wanted to enlist.
Right.
And he got accepted the same day that he applied. This is fact. And on top of that, once he got in, he got a special, I forget what they call it, the term for it, but he did, without going to officer's candidate school, it's kind of like getting knighted. Like he became an officer. And the planes that he flew were planes that were already obsolete, that there was no chance he could ever go to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And he brags about, flying fighter planes. I mean, maybe his father did.
Setting all of that aside, and where was he in that 1 year in Alabama that he was supposed to be there? Where was he? And everybody who was there says that he never showed up.
Yeah, he's Satan. I think he might be Satan.
Okay, well, I knew he's horny anyway. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. But he's going to bring honesty and integrity back. I mean, he didn't do all that drinking and snorting. And he did show up for that year. They just forgot. He forgot about him because he was forgettable. Honesty and integrity, my fat ass. Read my lips, no more Bush. 567-0560, pound 560. Got 4 million open lines here, hour and 40 minutes to go. Can we make it through the rest of this day?
No.
Can we get till 2 o'clock with this deadhead crowd?
No.
I don't think so. I really have my doubts. You couldn't get these bastards off their ass for love or money. Maybe the money part,
Only 50.
Now they want more than that. Not even worth their while. Here's a mobile in the Redlands. Hello.
Hey, Neil, I'm a faithful listener, and I rarely call you because I agree with you so much. But just a few things. You mentioned earlier about the people wanting to have Clinton help go out. There's an article today in today's USA Today where the Democrats are pushing to get Clinton to give Gore a hand. So that's going on right now. I just barely caught a few minutes of it yesterday. Jesse Ventura was on a show on the MSNBC show,
mm-hmm.
he was talking to college kids up in the Mall of the Americas up in Minnesota, and one of the polls one of the facts that he stated was that the number of people running for office always increases the number of people who go out to vote. And it's kind of neat. They had a chart showing that the year that Ross Perot was running, the polls, or not the polls, but the people who voted it was unbelievable how much higher, the more candidates there are to run, how many more people will go to the polls to vote. So,
yeah.
To get away
that's not true. It's not true this year.
No, well, but except that there was only that he was talking in relation to the number of people who were also able to see him on debates, because there's only the Republicans and Democrats on the debate.
Yeah, but the fact is that Perot he was polling double digits in the polls back then. That's why they got him in on the debates, because they couldn't keep him out. They had no justification to do it. Nader has never polled more than 4%, and Buchanan is just barely hanging on like 1% or less. In addition to which, if you're going to have an hour and a half debate, as fast as those things went by this time, and as poor as most of the questions were, can you imagine having Nader and or Buchanan in those? You wouldn't heard anything from these guys. Nothing.
That would be true because of the people who you're talking about. But I guess what Ventura was trying to say was that they need to change the rules to allow the number of people on the debates and stuff.
Well, we just want him to walk in and take over. That's all. That's all we like.
Well, and then third but not least, I'm a little familiar with the oil industry. A lot of people don't realize with the Bush thing. The crude oil, there's different kinds of crude oil. And the crude oil that comes out of the Alaska where he's wanting to drill out is not an oil that would be used in the United States. There's already crude oil being pumped out of Alaska, and it's being sold to Japan. And that's a fact. And what he's trying to do, as we all know, as we think, is to help the oil companies out to sell this crude oil. Now, there would be some natural gases come out of Alaska, but that's it. The crude oil itself is not something that would be used here in the States.
Yeah.
So,
well, they don't come any cruder than W. Don't forget it.
That's a fact.
And have a great
day.
Yeah, let's see if George W. We get him in there and he can pollute the whole country as bad as he done in Houston here the last 8 years. That ought to be nice. Anybody see that thing on the news last night?
No.
Well, you ought to be watching instead of goddamn watching Married with Children and all those other stupid old reruns. Christ. The hell do these people watch? Where is their brain? I'm going to say it again for the 8 millionth time today. 25% of 18 to 20, your kids, 18 to 24, and some of you people out there, 18 to 24-year-olds, or at least the ones who listen to this show, the handful of them, they know the goddamn names because they keep hearing them over and over again. And probably sick of it and aren't listening right now. Too bad. 25% can't name both presidential candidates, and 70% couldn't name both vice presidential candidates, according to a CBS MTV freaking poll taken a couple of days ago. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know how stupid we are compared to the rest of the free world? In the rest of the free world, they actually not only understand about their own politics, their own whatever's going on socially, but they understand about what's, like in Europe. They can tell you about what's going on in all the other countries. We got a guy running for president here who can't even tell you the goddamn name of the Prime Minister of Canada. Much less Pakistan. Can't find Kosovo on the map. And admits it. Proudly admits it. And everybody says, yeah, that's our man. He's as dumb as we are. Jesus Christ. It's one thing to be dumb. They say ignorance is bliss. I guess that there's a frighteningly large number of people in this country who are dumb and are pretty happy about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Of course, you do these shows, and you'd never be able to believe that. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T. In fact, that guy from Naples before, the one in the phone booth with that bottle up his rectum, whatever the hell it was, he's it. That's your middle American guy, like those people in those hocus pocus focus groups. Well, I think that Bush guy and that, what's that guy's name, that Gore, what's his name? I don't know, they're both full of crap. Here's Miami, hello.
Yeah, hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How's it going? Hey, I don't mean to take you off the subject here, but I had a question about the Subway Series.
Yeah, call up one of the sports shows and ask about the Subway Series, okay, you goofball. I'm more than happy to change the subject, but there is no subject on the show. It's whatever the hell you want to talk about, but not baseball, not the goddamn sports nerd crap. You got 20 hours the rest of the day to ask about the stupid frickin' Subway Series. And I heard Hank talking the other day about Don Larson and the perfect game. I was home from school watching the goddamn last 7 innings of that perfect game. I was up on it. Well, actually, the last part of that game, I moved my chair right up in front of the TV set and wound up practically standing on the chair. I was so excited watching Yogi Berra take that last pitch. Dale Mitchell take the called third strike. And Yogi went out there and hopped up into Don Larson's arms. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And anybody who would compare what's going on in any kind of professional sport today with back before expansion has got to be doing more drugs than these guys who are on steroids. Read a great column in the LA Times about that coming back from Vegas about steroids. See, it's not just the juiced up baseball that's causing all these increased hormones. It's steroids. There you go. All kinds of drugs. Yeah. And of course, Bud Light, he don't want to do nothing about it. He's just ignorant because he figures it fits right in. Silence is golden. Compare these. It's like people, Patrick Frog, he broke Terry Sawchuk's record there, most wins. Yeah, big deal. Terry Sawchuk, every one of his wins in his career was against the original 16s before all this expansion. Patrick Frog, every game he's played in the NHL has been post-expansion against a bunch of girls' teams, most of it. Oh, yeah, but he just broke the record. Yeah, great. I'm sorry for young people who never realized what professional sports used to be before we had teams in Batavia, New York, and goddamn Schenectady, and major league teams in Ypsilanti, and Flushing, Michigan, home of Francis O'Hare. 26 past noon at 560 WQAM.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
This is Debbie.
Oh, hi, Debbie. I'm interested in getting some operations done.
Okay.
And some body contouring and some liposuction.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you get some tummy tuck and lip augmentation, cosmetic breast surgery, facelift, all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering...
What would you like to start with?
Well, I need to get everything done. Probably the first thing I'd like to have removed is my thing.
Okay, we don't do that.
No. Could you do breast implants, though?
It can be done, but I don't know if they would do it right away.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
$5,000.
Excellent. I'd like to have my skin resurfaced, too.
Mm-hmm.
Laser surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Have the lambs stopped crying yet, Mommy?
Excuse me?
Don't hurt Mommy's little baby. It puts the lotion in the basket. I'd like to get the liposuction that I saw on TV.
Okay.
Can you make me look more like a woman?
Well, we'll have to see you first, and then upon looking at you, we can tell you that when we see you.
Should I wear my skin suit made of body parts, Mommy?
If you'd like to.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Would you like to make an appointment?
Yes.
Okay, there is a $100 consultation fee.
That's fine.
Okay,
My name is Buffalo Bill.
Okay, let me get a little information from you, okay? Just one moment.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Do you want to come in for a consultation for
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay. Would you like to make an appointment, or do you want to call me back? Or?
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand.
I've got my skin suit and nipple necklace.
Bill.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand that. Would you like to...
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Would you like to make an appointment?
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay, I will talk to you another time, okay?
It puts the lotion in the basket. Hello?
12:33 at 560 WQAM. So what was his point? How's that poll coming? Generally, which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? Cubans, 112. Boy, Amy Schaefer would be here proud if she were here right now. It was Cubans! Cubans! I wonder what the hell ever. I know Tom Schaefer is still dead. Tom Schaefer dead. Jerry Wichner dead. Anyway, Cubans 112, 44%. It's not even a contest. It's a runaway. New Yorkers 47, 18.5%. Senior citizens 27. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's getting redone here. One moment, please. It's reloading. Like I said, senior citizens 28, 10.9%. French Canadians 20, 7.8%. African Americans 19, only 7.5%. Rednecks 17, 6.6%. Haitians with 10, 3.9%. And even though they're not completely shut out, they're still evidently the most beloved group in all of South Florida because of their good weed. Jamaicans have only got 2. Jamaicans have a pair. And that's it. Another fascinating poll here exclusively on the Neil Rogers Show. Who else has got such a warped mind to come up with crap like that? Well, I know what this town's all about. If we were to ask a poll like, well, which group do you like most? So probably we'd have to put a space on there for none of the above because it would win hands down or hands up like your rectum. Here's a call from Fort Myers. Hello.
Hey, Neil, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I'm a lifelong registered Democrat. Maybe you can answer a couple of questions.
I'll give it my best shot.
First off, is the W in George W., does that stand for wealth?
Weak.
Weak.
Yeah.
Or wimp. Or wuss.
Weak.
Okay, that answers one question. And Neil, I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, I can't vote for Bush. I mean, this guy...
Well, then vote for Gore. Vote 2 or 3 times for Gore. Just hold your nose and do it.
Okay, and if we're going to have another category, Neil, how about old people that can't drive?
Okay.
Okay,
Just hold your nose. Get that nose clip, baby.
Thanks.
Okay. There you go. We had a call from Fort Myers. There's a guy. He didn't know what to do, and I told him what to do. He said, okay. You know what he said?
Okay.
Yeah. I like that. Anybody else undecided? Just call me. I'll tell you exactly where to go and what to do, especially the where to go part. 567-0560, pound 560 on the 8. I mean, this is going to be close. Don't get sucked in by that CNN thing. I can't repeat it often enough. They're trying to pull the wool over your thing. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to horse-waggle you, whatever those yahoos say down there. Here's Coral Gables. Hello.
Hey, how are you, Neil?
Okay.
They should, one thing I got to tell you, I love these Paul Harvey-esque sort of mid-diatribe segues you do into your commercials, and you just don't miss a beat. Always gives me a good laugh when I think I'm about to hear some more anger spewing from you, and then suddenly I'm hearing something about a...
Angry? Me? Angry? You must be listening to the wrong show, man.
Suddenly I'm hearing something about Pompano Beach liposuction.
Right.
That was a great, the lotion in the basket.
Pompano Beach suction? Oh, yeah.
That had me going. So, a couple of things. Clarification. Last night on David Letterman, did you hear?
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Yeah.
Did you hear what's his name?
I don't watch David Letterman.
You didn't?
Who was on last night? Bush?
He had Bush on there last night.
Oh, they were showing clips of that before, but with the audio down, thank God.
Oh, he is a nincompoop.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets on there, and one thing he clarified, or tried to clarify, because I thought Letterman gave him a pretty good hard time.
He gave him a hard time?
Yeah, he asked him a lot of questions about the environment and brought up the stuff about Houston and Texas.
Really?
Yeah, brought up the
What did he
Alaska
say?
thing right away. He basically just said to him, what are you trying to do? He said, I heard a news story come out a week ago, and I guess it was a joke. Isn't this how he starts off the question? He says, I assume it must have been a joke. It had to have been. He goes, you're not going to go up to our beautiful Alaska and start trying to bring trucks in there and drill for oil, are you?
Mm-hmm.
And Bush starts laughing and then says, yeah, of course, that's something that we are going to look into. And he says the current administration is already doing this. This is not something new. And he said, and we're actually going after natural gas up there, and it burns clean and all this other garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So he tried to act as if he knew what he was talking about. But then he brought up the death penalty. And he says how, Letterman starts saying how I'm very uncomfortable with the death penalty and yada, yada, yada. How do you feel about that? So he basically regurgitates the response he gave to that black guy that asked the question of the debate.
Yeah, he's not proud of it, but, monkey see, monkey do.
Right, I'm upholding the law. Yada, yada. Well, I'm sitting there listening, I'm like thinking, first of all, doesn't it make any sense to this guy whatsoever to sort of then deflect in a political way? Most politicians would have said, well, my opponent also supports it, and then gone through a whole other explanation. Instead, he starts talking again about how he's upholding the laws, and then Letterman says, now how many states have the death penalty? Bush didn't know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
He's the governor of Texas.
Yeah.
He doesn't know out of 50 states how many other states have.
Here's a guy who can't find Kosovo on the map and is proud of it, and you expect him to know things like that? Because when you start dealing with numbers, he's got that fuzzy math problem again.
It's outrageous. I can't even believe.
I didn't see the show, but George told me the best part of the show was when he asked him a question that he got stuck on. He just turned to Letterman and said,
"You're gay." No.
That's what I'm hearing.
Anyway, I could not even believe. I can't believe that it's tied. It just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind.
It's shocking.
So anyway, I hope that Clinton, if they think it's going to help Gore, I hope he starts standing by the guy because he's said nothing up to this point.
Or at least passing on some cigars or something.
I got a good Clinton joke for you. I'll let you go.
Okay, thanks. 567-0560, pound. What's he going to give us a joke? We don't do jokes. Only on the facts. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out of town, we actually had a call from Fort Myers. It wasn't great, but it was sure better than the guy from Naples, that drunken guy strung upside down in the phone booth. 877-785-63. Well, what am I giving that number out for? We could get calls from more than just Fort Myers. Whatever happened to all those people that used to call? Maybe that guy in Milwaukee will call back again. The one's going to tell us about Hillary Clinton being a communist. 877-785-6345. I mean, every Democrat female has got to be a communist, right? Ann Richards, Maxine Waters, Hillary Clinton. You bet. How about Pat Schroeder? She was yeah, there's another one. She was a babbling idiot is what she was. 20 before 1 at 560 WQA.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I want to bang you in the butt, honey.
from Washington, the McLaughlin Group, featuring Eleanor Cliff, Jack Jamond, and sitting in for Pat Buchanan, New York Giant Tiki Barber. Now, here's John McLaughlin. Issue 1, George W. Rings or vault? Eleanor Cliff.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jack Jamond.
Well, that's not an easy choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber.
I'm going to have to say the vault.
Wrong! Actual answer, floor exercise.
That wasn't even a choice.
Next issue, Al Gore. Favorite Broadway show. Bring in the noise, bring in the funk, or Cats. Eleanor G, I think you're swallowed off.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jackie, Big Jamon.
Well, that's a very difficult choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber.
I'm going to have to say Ren.
Not a choice, Ricky Tiki Barber.
You gave an answer last time that wasn't a choice.
Wrong! Correct response, Cats. He loves them. Next issue, the cast of Big Brother should be murdered. How? Eleanor.
Guillotine.
Wrong. Check your mark.
Dynamite.
Wrong. Tiki Barber.
I don't think they should be killed.
Wrong. Actual answer, poison pudding. Bye-bye.
Now, the fact that you find that so funny and you've never seen that show. Now, somebody called and said it was on 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
You must either tape it or watch it, because when you watch it and haven't heard this 400 times, which I'm going to play it at least 3,000 times a day, you'll have to have the pens on. What you're paying. I'm serious. Because it's perfect. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. And of course, at the end of the show, he's like in the middle of a sentence, bye-bye! Bye-bye! It's the best. Tiki Barber. It's beautiful. Good work, guys. That's those crazy guys up in, where is it? Schenectady? Albany? Where the hell they are. Here's South Miami. Hello. South Miami.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yes, did you guys see another 48 Hours last night?
No, I did not.
They were talking about women from the Middle Eastern countries when they bring shame to the family. One girl, she had got raped, and they killed her because she brought shame to the family.
Right, that's correct.
Hey, did you see it?
No, I didn't see it, but I've seen that before.
Yeah, I'm out of material.
Okay. Isn't that great? There you go. I rest my case.
Islam, baby.
There is Islam. How's Farrakhan? You know, how come I didn't play that the other day? What is that under?
Farrakhan.
Genghis Khan? Is that right next to Farrah Fawcett?
Today I'd like to read a letter that I'm writing to all white people today in the spirit of unity and understanding. Dear white folk, couple of things you ought to know. When I'm born, I'm black. When I grow up, I'm black. When I get sick, I'm black. When I go out in the sun, I'm black. When I go out in the cold, I'm black. When I get scared, I'm black. And when I die, I'm still black. But you, my white man, when you're born, you are pink. When you grow up, you are white. When you get sick, you are green. When you go out in the sun, you go red. And when you get cold, you turn blue. When you get scared, you turn yellow. And the happiest time of my life is when white people die, you turn purple. And you got the damn nerve to call me colored.
Or as the Dutch like to say, it's a Schwarzbild. It's 12 minutes before 1 at 560 WQM. Hank Goldberg coming up at 2. And, of course, the world-famous Dave Wants That Show with Hank between 5 and 6. Yeah, we're supposed to say that just right. Get the top billing on there for the big guy. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Pretty good.
You know what? I'm just speaking of guys from Fort Myers and other parts of Florida. The Boots from Lutz, man. Whatever happened?
Whatever happened to what?
The Boots from Lutz, that obsessive caller you had calling a while back.
Yeah, he's still on the CD. He's still back there in the wall.
You mentioned something that kind of piqued me. Jerry Wishner died?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
A week or two ago.
Really?
He's dead. He's still dead.
Oh, that's terrible.
74.
What happened?
I don't know. It didn't in the paper in the article. Didn't say what happened. It just said he died at home, and that was the end of the article.
Was it the Herald or the Sun Sentinel? I'm right?
It was in both papers.
It was in both papers.
Miami Herald and the Sun Sentinel. He's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, too.
Sorry for your loss, Neil.
It happens to the best of us. Okay, sorry for my loss. Woo! Okay.
Aren't you bereaved?
Now, you didn't even know him, okay?
No.
You never saw that big 357 Magnum waving in here. You never heard him come in and talk with that bad multicolored hairpiece talking about the Ho Chi Minh Trail and the Jungle Bunnies?
Nope.
5670560, pound 560. In fact, if you look up old redneck in the dictionary, there's old Jer's picture right there, next to the $6 million man. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, as a matter of fact.
Good,
Sensational.
good. I love your poll question. I had to call in after I voted and let you know, just give you my 4 or 5 points as to how I voted.
Let's do those talking points.
Even though I'm married to one. 4 or 5 quick points. Alex Pinellas, Joy Carollo, Ilion, and I guess the other one, he's living only 90 miles away from Cuba now, but I guess we'll go with Jimmy Johnson. All of them are Cubans, and that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Okay, there he goes. 5670560. Give those numbers again, Neil. Kill some really good time. If you give them 600 times a day, that's about a half an hour. It's kind of like Hank with all those people he has taken up segments. Good job there, Humper. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon. Of course, on the other shows, the sports nerd shows, they rarely have to give out the numbers because they have a succession of those people. What's your take on that Vermont Rensselaer Polytech Institute game this weekend? Huh? Yeah. I have the feeling of red ants crawling in my rectum. I start hearing those idiots calling in, destroying our programs, destroying the very fiber, the moral fiber of this radio station. You can't complain about our morality here at QAM because we don't have any. Here's a mobile and baby. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Pretty damn good.
That's good. Listen, after last night's debacle on Letterman, I just don't know how anybody can actually be serious about even thinking about voting for this creep.
Yeah.
There's just no way that you can even think this guy's remotely presidential. I mean, you go up against, but I will say this, if he was on Leno would have just thrown him softballs all night long. I gotta hand it to Letterman. Really tough question.
Yeah.
Very direct, and I mean, it just...
Well, Leno was too busy sucking around with Dan Rather, who was filling in for Larry King last night, so Leno spent a whole hour sticking his chin out in the camera on that thing.
Right. I mean, but Letterman really he just pulled no punches.
Mm-hmm.
Very direct. And I mean, if last night you didn't take away from it, like I don't see after last night how anybody in their right mind, clear thinking, can actually pull the lever for this.
All right, now let me ask you this. Wouldn't you agree with me, because I don't know what the demographics are, but I would assume that Letterman's number one demographic is males 18 to 24, wouldn't you, or at least 18 to 34, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, right.
So that being the case, how is it possible that we have all these 18 to 24-year-old morons out there who can't even name both candidates, and almost all of them can't name either one of the vice presidential candidates?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Neil. Unfortunately, I missed the last thing you said.
Well, I said they were dumb.
All right.
They're like W. Maybe that's why they relate to them. They're dumb. Okay, have a great day, so you're breaking up. You're cracking up. Yeah, it is. I know that I have a lot of company out there, people that are astonished, and then they listen to the pundits talking afterward, and they see, well, once again, 45 to 40 on the CBS poll, they said Gore won the third debate. It should have been like 85-15. Only the most partisan, Fabrician right-wingers should have said, oh, yeah, George W. won it. And then, even though every poll on the debate says that Gore won the debate, the next day, we're supposed to believe that now Bush is making progress, and CNN tells us he's 10 points ahead. Do we believe it?
No.
No way. I mean, you're dealing with people who are so immovable and intractable. And, of course, the biggest part of the factor was the we don't like Al Gore factor. That's a big part. So, again, because everything on television comes back to one thing, personality. That's what it's all about, personality. And if there's anybody who thinks that Bush, that a guy that's either dumb like Gomer Pyle, or he had a great personality, dumb is big in America. They like dumb.
So they them.
Yeah. Oh, and they had a thing on him on, MSNBC has all those damn, those biography things, like last week. And I watched it only for one reason.
To see it?
Yes. And then they talked about how his career was nearly ruined by those scandalous rumors in the tabloids about his marriage to Rock Hudson. And then they had him talk. I was real upset about that, and it just about ruined my life, but I just had to overcome. I just ignore that. And they talked about the fact that he and Mommy have moved to Hawaii, and he lives in Hawaii now. And during the course of the show, they made some passing comment about some broad that he worked with in some show that he allegedly was dating at the time. And I said, yeah. Surprise, 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 surprise. Take a look at that. Yeah, you got a wiener. Yeah, and I got a wiener, too. Let's see what we can do out of it. Yeah. Lives with Mommy. He's 125 years old, and he's living with Mommy out there in Hawaii. Why is it that all the old queens, all the old, like Jack Lord, he was out there in Hawaii. Uh-huh. Yeah, he had a wife. The old queens all retire in Hawaii. The old closet queens. Anyway, it's, who cares, 12:55. Well, I know the right-wingers care. They care a lot. They care a lot. That's like the guy said before. They care about penis, baby. That's their thing. That's why they're into the gun so much. It's no coincidence. The phallic symbol. I guess when you don't have one, you got to have a substitute. Speaking of, I could make some insensitive comment about Jerry Witchner, probably, even though he was a tall guy, probably had a very tiny, almost invisible penis. Because that's why he had that big 357 Magnum, and he had it in his hand at all times, and a gun, too. It's a substitute. It's a man thing. It's like, see, I don't understand it's like golf. It's a guy thing. Guys go out and play golf together. You just don't understand it because you're not a real guy. Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. I don't understand the reason guys go out and play golf. I mean, I can't imagine anything more boring than going out and whacking, balls with guys. Well, all depending on what they look like. Huh? 12:56 at 560 WQAM. It's not just the 1 to 2 hour. It's a phenomenon.
I wish I was so dusty, girl.
From the people that brought you music to love to and music to cuddle to comes a new CD to add to your collection. Time Life presents Music to Beat Your Wife To, featuring Rick Springfield.
Why did he have to slap me like that?
When it's time for bitches to come correct, do what the real hick wife beaters do. Listen to Rick. Call Time Life Music today to order your copy of Music to Beat Your Wife To. Operators are standing by.
I don't know, he looked pretty good to me back in those old days. 101 at 5, well, a lot of guys look good in those olden days, and now, what happened? Minute after 1 at 560 WQAM, middle-aged man faces the fact that his dad needs an old folks home. He takes Pop in and meets with the nurse who wants to give him a physical. The son waits out in the hall for his dad. The nurse finds the old man have a very large erection and quickly climbs aboard for an old fart pony ride. The old man finishes, goes out in the hall and tells the son, "Hey, my boy, this nurse just screwed the living hell out of me. This is going to be great." The Pop says, "Go ahead and sign me in." Old man staggers down the hall and all of a sudden he falls. A big Schwarzer orderly jumps on his back and bangs the hell out of the old-timer. 5 minutes later, he hooks up with his son. This time he's visibly upset. The son says, "Dad, what's wrong? You just got sex from a hot nurse," to which the dad replies, "Hey, pal, I just fell down in the hall and a big black orderly banged me in the butt. I have an erection 2 times a year, but I fall down 10 times a day." 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. How's that poll coming, Neil? So glad you asked. Generally, which group of people in South Florida bug you the most? Cubans, 137, 44.5%. New Yorkers, 61, 20%. Senior citizens, 32, 10.4%. French Canadians, 24, 8%. African Americans, 21, 7%. Rednecks, 18. Haitians, 12. And Jamaicans still have only a pair, only 2. See, these people don't want to get their supply cut off for the weekend. They don't bug nobody from their Jamaican friends. No, they're Jamaican, except for the imperious, hostile Jamaican women. Well, yeah, they don't go out of their way. It'd be nice. Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil, what's up?
How you doing, sir?
I guess of all the penis talk going on today, I should actually have them hanging. But anyway, listen, I'm in the age group that you keep mentioning between the ages of, I think, 18 and 24.
Yes,
and
sir.
I do know who both of the candidates
Bush
are.
and Gore. Excellent.
Yes, sir, because I listen to your show.
Uh-huh.
What I wanted to ask you was...
We're educating the young people of this country. I told you that.
Hey, you helping us out. What I wanted to ask you if you've read any of that Rolling Stone article, because I got my fresh copy the other day. I'm a loyal subscriber.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, they ask Gore in one part, and this kind of solidified my vote for him. They ask him, "What do you think of him?" And he says, "I don't know him well enough to have a judgment about him, and I'm leery of going on the cartoon image that I get from the news media." what do you think of the campaign he's running there? He pauses and he says, I don't know yet. Nietzsche once said, the end of a thing is its nature. They say, is that your final answer? And he says, since I don't have a lifeline, yes. So basically that solidified my vote for Gore.
Okay, excellent job, pal.
All right, buddy.
Round him up, man. We need him. Okay, there's a young man who's going to go up and round up all his young friends. The 10 of them are registered to vote. See, that's another thing. Most young people aren't registered to vote anyway. Maybe this could be a method in their madness in Fort Lauderdale. Because if they can't be out there drinking up a storm, and go to those bars and clubs at night, maybe they can get up early in the morning and go register to vote, even though it's too late this time. What do you think? Is that a good idea?
No.
No, we hate you old farts in Fort Lauderdale. I want you to know that right now. We despise you like poison because you're turning all of Broward County into an old folks home. It wasn't bad enough that we had, all these, I don't want to say pockets. Sunrise Lakes and Tamarack and Margate and so many goddamn places where the average age is death, Cemetery Village. I don't want to mention Sterling Hills.
Oi!
Carriage Hill.
Oi!
On Sterling Road, where the average age is 110 and my mother feels like a teenager. I don't want to mention that. But God forbid we should have anybody under the age of 100 in this town. God forbid. We don't like you. We want you out of here. We can't stand you. That's the message. And don't expect the politicians to go to bat for you because you're not voting. Here's Key Biscayne. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
All right.
Hey, I got on your poll and I couldn't find the Irish on there.
Not yet.
So I voted for the Cubans anyway.
Okay.
Hey, listen, you made a statement earlier that kind of left me confused.
I hate the Irish.
Yeah.
You said that most Catholics generally vote Democrat?
Yes.
I tell you what, I've been around the country, but I guess I don't know the country as well as you do, but...
No, that isn't my statement. I mean, that's a fact. They've had all kinds of stories about that, not just on CNN, but in the research. I mean, that's just tradition. Catholics tend to be more Democrat.
Well, the Cuban Catholics down here do not vote Democrat at all.
Well, but however, most Hispanics who also are Catholic vote Democrat, so, the Cubans are not representative of the Hispanic vote in this country.
No,
not even close.
That's why I clarified in the beginning. I don't know about the rest of the country, but... It's funny because I know a lot of, for lack of a better word, I mean, there's low-rent whites, low-rent blacks, low-rent Cubans, but I know a lot of low-rent Cubans. They drive trucks, and I see them at the Oasis here on Key Biscayne when they eat lunch, and it's unbelievable. They're all voting for Bush.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's he going to do to you?
The poll in the Herald this morning, the FIU poll in local Cuban vote, who will you vote for in the November elections? Gore 15%, Bush 64%. 64 to 15, and the rest undecided.
That's in the Herald today, huh?
Right.
I haven't picked it up yet. It's just brainwashing, I guess. I don't know what the other word is.
Of course. Everybody who's to the left of Attila the Hun is comunista. That's right.
Yeah.
And now they had the alien thing, and even though Gore took their side to a great deal, and he made a mistake because just like I said back then, they're not going to vote for him anyway.
That's absolutely true.
Because they connect him with Bubba and with the Janet Reno, and therefore he's part of another communist, and therefore we've got to vote against him. Plus, they're getting all the propaganda on their Spanish-language radio station 28 hours a day.
I swear they just can't think for themselves.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be allowed to vote, actually, but anyway, that's just my opinion.
But they do.
I know. Boy, do they ever.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, Neil.
See ya. See, one thing about old people, old Cubans, old Jews, I don't know about old Spartans, I don't know about that, but old people generally tend to vote, because what else are they going to do? Got nothing else
What's
going
happening?
on. It's a big deal. It's a big thing to look forward to. Oy vey, today we go vote. Wow, let's go to the clubhouse and vote. Yeah, that's another thing. And these people who live in these condo complexes, their voting place is usually the clubhouse, right inside their complex. When Jesse Ventura was on that time with the King, I forget who else was on that panel a few weeks ago, and they asked them about making the voting Election Day a holiday, and everybody that was on there said absolutely correct. How can you possibly make people go to work on a day and then the polls are open from 7 to 7? Well, that's not the point. There are a lot of people on their way to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of people don't get out of work till 5 in the afternoon. Not everybody's got a cush 3-hour a day job like we got here. 5-minute a day job. So just keep making it. And then, of course, the other extreme is, well, let's let them vote on the Internet. You know why I say that? No, not a good idea. Anybody that's ever conducted a poll on the Internet, like here on this show, or anybody else out there trying to collect it, no matter how hard they try to make it for somebody to beat the system, there's always a bunch of wise punks out there who can beat the system. Right? Right. So the idea of letting assholes vote on the internet is a bad idea. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line.
Brad Pitt God.
Gentlemen, closing statements. You begin, Senator Lieberman. Bernie, Al Gore and I are committed to making America's public schools crumbling classrooms. I have tried very hard in my career to act in a way that brings down the institutions of government and each of us individually. And for a while, I was drilling my wife Hadassah, and the deeper I got...
That time is up, Senator.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Secretary.
George Bush is a good man, an honorable man, a man of high taxes. And Governor Bush and I are going to reform the Social Security system so that senior citizens suffer this winter. He'll make a first-rate president.
Secretary Cheney, Senator Lieberman, we thank you.
All right. Nice going, Bernie. 114 at 560 WQM. We're rolling along, singing a song here on a wonderful Friday. The Dow is up 54 points. The Nasdaq's up about 90 points. Can we do it? Can we hang out of this for another 3 hours and have 2 big days in a row, huh? Or at least 2 decent days in a row? I told you, if you just sit back and you hang on and you're patient, haven't I been telling you that while you've been ripping Mitch Hirsch an ass? If you were in for the long haul, man. George, see, now George wants to start getting into stocks. So he got a couple of bucks because he finally, and I do mean finally, got this bonus and finally got the extra money he's supposed to get for doing the show during the summer while I was having my great vacation. Finally got that money. And that was the other part. There was some other stuff in there.
Oh, the talent.
Yeah, the talent fee for the appearances from a month ago and the live spots. Finally got that. So now he's got a few bucks jingling around in his pocket. He wants to be a day trader. He says, you can be a gay trader, I'll be a day trader. I said, you're crazy. Don't do it. He's starting to watch the ticker. He's got CNBC on in there all day. He's asking me all these dumb questions. And, of course, he could be the most dangerous because it's obvious he knows absolutely nothing. That's like going to the track. When you know nothing, those are the guys that, hit the cash on the 99 to 1 shot. 3 out of 3. But they know nothing, yeah.
My track visits.
There you go. That's your track record. And so now he wants to buy Motorola, he wants to buy a couple shares of this, he wants to get an Ameritrade account and one of those stupid things there.
Yeah, which one?
Call up what's his name? See, I still can't remember. Stewart. Call up Stewart. And ride the wave of the future. Yeah. That would be a good poll question. Who does that better, Stewart or Brian Andrews? Oh, that's pretty tight. I don't think Brian probably is, though. Here's Margate. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I made up my mind a long time ago. These debates were absolutely meaningless to me because my main issue is never to let the Supreme Court fall into the hands of the likes of D. James Kennedy and people who are speaking in tongues.
Like Antonin Scalia.
Yeah,
and Clarence freaking Thomas, yeah.
There's like 50 million people in the United States that are speaking in tongues right now. I prove that?
Yeah.
Now, let me say this. As far as this country is concerned in the oil situation and the environment, I'm very much pro-environment. However, we've boxed ourselves in over the years by not developing alternative sources of energy.
Absolutely correct.
And I think that, and especially...
And why do you think that is? You don't think it's because of the big oil companies, do you?
Oh, of course.
That have to get their money back for all the exploration and all the investment that they made and want to maximize their profits, as they were saying a couple of weeks ago?
You know something, Neil, that's a moot question, but at this point, it's not important because the thing is, what I want to say now is that if Gore wins, and I hope he does, not because I have so much respect for the man, but because I just want to see this country stay out of the hands of the religious wrong, we're going to have to do our own drilling up here. And it's going to have to be really regulated very heavily by the federal government.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm in favor of because we have to develop, if you watched TV last night, you would have seen the threat the Arabs now have over us as far as oil is concerned. Even the moderate Arab countries that still do business with us.
Well, you know something, if Daddy would have finished off Saddam over there, we'd have a whole different picture on the road.
You got Hezbollah, and you got the Hamas who are taking over the Islamic fundamental.
Have you ever seen how big Iraq is on the map and how much oil they've got?
Yeah, but you know something? Saudi Arabia and all these other countries, in a very short period of time, trust me, are going to be in the hands of extremists. And that's going to mean the end of oil for the United States. So we better get on the stick. We better start drilling now. Make sure that the government has full control over it.
Yeah, or else just go out and buy a lot of Sterno, one or the other. I don't want to hear it. He's so gloom and doom and so depressing and so pessimistic that I'm ready to blow somebody's brains out. Not mine, but, you know. The sky is falling. Just calm down, pal. Just relax. I mean, here it is the weekend. You know, we want to go out on a positive note, and it's depression time. That's South Florida for you. See, it's this business of I'm very pessimistic, I feel I'm very miserable, and I want you to share with me. And, of course, our answer is no. We want to keep it upbeat. Keep it light, Neil. Keep it light. I wonder if that guy's dead by now. Probably. 567-0560, or maybe just dead light. Pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. On the West Coast, we're back on again this hour at Fort Myers. Oh, we had two pretty emotional calls from over that West Coast today. God, are you people full of it. 877-785-6345. It's toll-free. We pay for it, and they still got nothing to say. All those good liberal folks over there on the West Coast. Here's Key Biscayne. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Listen, I'm one of those number ones that people are voting for. I'm one of those Cubans that lives here in South Florida.
Yes?
And let me tell you, the other day, this idiot Al Cardenas, who's the head of the Republican Party, spewing on Radio Mambi or whatever, about the morality of Clinton, about how immoral this guy is.
Yeah.
So I called up, so listen, I'm so-and-so, Carlos, whatever, and remember when you hit that lady and you killed her and you were drunk and you were high on coke and you sped away? But immediately they hang up. And that's a fact. This guy about 10 years ago, he was out drunk driving, high on coke, hit a woman, killed her, and ran away from the scene of the accident.
Does he know Rick Sanchez, maybe?
But, and if you listen to this Cuban radio station, I'm Cuban. And I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm totally...
Well, you ought to be. I can understand that.
It's unbelievable. The other day, some lady called up and said, Al Gore, when he was in Vietnam, wasn't he a photographer? And they said, yeah. Well, maybe he was selling the pictures to the Vietnamese. And they, instead of the radio personality...
I heard he was selling naked pictures of Jane Fonda, is what I heard.
Well, anyway, and it's so-and-so, I called one another time and I said, hey, Bush and Reagan were president and vice president for 12 years. What the hell did they do about Fidel Castro? Tell me, are we better off when they were president?
Not only that, but which of the two parties has always been the most vehement as far as illegal aliens and immigration policy is concerned? That wasn't the Democrats. It's always been a big Republican thing. Psychotic about immigration.
Absolutely, but it's so narrow-minded, Neil, and I deal with my friends here, and they think I'm this left-wing, way out there in left.
Communista.
Yeah, and I throw my hands up. I said, guys, look at the facts. Look at the situation.
But you see, in order to look at the facts, you have to have an open mind. You're dealing with people who are so intensely brainwashed, and they keep reinforcing it on those radio stations. You're trying to break through a wall. You're not going to do it.
Is what my dad used to say. That's the reason that we're here, and Castro will die in power. If you
right, that's right. There's an old expression where there's no sense, there's no feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good luck, pal.
Okay, thanks.
Vote 20 or 30 times. All you Cubans out there, I know there are many of you who are going to vote for Gore or hate Bush like poison and aren't part of that right-wing paranoid psychosis. Vote 20 or 30 times each and kind of even it out. Because 64-15... Bush to Gore in the local Cuban community is not exactly what you call an evil it is an evil playing field, but not even. That's what we got to contend with because this is Florida. And then of course you got all the mugwumps over there on the West Coast. We know how they're going to vote, most of them. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Hey Neil, how are you?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, my family's from Cuba too, and I feel just like that other guy feels. I feel embarrassed by the majority of Cubans down here, and I just, as far as I'm concerned, they're just from another planet, beings from a planet I'm very unfamiliar with. And secondly, have you ever seen how these old Cuban farts go to vote down here and what happens when they go to vote?
No.
They've got Rosanna Dana, Ross Laitman, and Lincoln Diaz Big Mouth, and all the rest of their cronies have operatives at the voting booths. And they're giving these people papers, and they're explaining to them exactly how they have to vote. It's a shocking thing. I've never seen anything like that before. They're telling them, exactly how to vote. It's like these old farts aren't even going in there and exercising their own discretion.
Esa es la chingada manera cubana.
Yeah, there you go.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as the caller before, the caller that was on before I answered,
yeah,
that oil dependency, we haven't really done anything. We have to also look at our own behavior in this country. We haven't helped ourselves out by buying so many SUVs.
You took the words out of my mouth. They're talking about how dangerous they are and about the Firestone tires. But in the meantime, when they first came out with SUVs, I thought, well, those must be really economical, And come to find out that they're all a bunch of gas guzzlers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I drive my 2 Corvettes, and people will think, well, that's a big racy sports car, probably a gas guzzler. I get almost 26 miles to a gallon on the highway, and average between city and highway over 20 miles a gallon.
We as a country are very spoiled people, and we think we can have our cake and eat it at the same time. But I mean, you have to act responsibly too, and I mean, like, resources are scarce in the world, and we consume a lot of those scarce resources.
That's correct.
Gas goes up a few cents, we're screaming. Meanwhile, in Europe, they're paying almost $5.
In England, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Approximately $5, but then they use that to finance their national health care too, which we don't have. And finally, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, if George W. hates Washington so much, then why is he dying so badly to go there?
Good point.
That's
have a great day, pal. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, he's against big government, but he wants to do the ringmaster. Now, what is that you just opened up in there with all that filler in it?
Printer cable for the printer that's supposed to be here today. It's probably out in the hall in a box.
The printer that's going to be here?
Our new printer and fax
printer
machine.
And fax machine.
Scanner.
Oh, it's going to be here today? Oh! All right! That's a good... See, we're starting to make some progress in spite of the rest of this company that just is oblivious and will provide us with absolutely nothing. I don't want to sound ungrateful, okay, but you look at, here's our TV set without which we'd have no contact with the rest of the world, so that when anything is going on, we'd never have any opportunity. I mean, as it is now, it's not great, but we have no contact. And the VCR and the satellite dish, which was donated to us by
Digital World Satellite.
Digital World Satellite. And, of course, the TV and the VCR given by a good close personal friend, Jeff Cohen from Pizza Loft.
Including my VCR.
And then, of course, we got the new fancy schmancy, which I bought with my own hard-earned money. Even after losing my ass in Vegas, still have a few cents left over to buy a great new printer/fax machine. And on it goes. Because this is...
Did you mention the computer already?
No.
That you bought?
Oh, that's right, and the computer that I bought, that's right, which allows us to do these polls and make it a fun part of the show. That's right. I forgot about that. How soon they forget. But I bought. Who ever heard of a company, they're bragging about, well, we're very responsible and there's no truth to those rumors about the sale. Who the hell are you people kidding? When they hired me to come here, did they ever tell me it was going to be do-it-yourself radio?
No.
Oh, we're going to build you a state-of-the-art studio. Yeah, Greg, you're a state-of-the-art bozo, baby. State-of-the-art my ass. So basically, it comes to the point I've spent, which I can handle it, I can afford it, but shouldn't have to do it, thousands of dollars so that we can have a studio here that's getting close to being a real one. Nice going, Greg. 26 after 1 at 560 WQAM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
It's Friday, you bastard.
All we ever wanted. All we ever needed. Yeah. If there are one, boards, and games. Don't know how we do it.
You're gay.
Until we eat pizza and hot dogs, then hit the McDonald's for a Big Mac. When you rip his Leon, easy to see why girls wanna go. Our stomachs kick butt on those flabby backstreet boys. All we ever wanted, they're all we ever needed, yeah. If there are bus, sports,
131, here's a bulletin, baby. We got some big radio news here. Strap yourselves in. From Inside Radio, and this is yesterday's. It took a whole day, but thank you whoever faxed this to me. Beasley promising $100 million yearly expenditures to grow the group, with the goal of becoming one of the top 5 groups in the years ahead. Not too many people are buying it. Public companies have been prone to make big promises for public consumption lately, not based on reality, let's say. Not based on reality. Wall Street sources say Beasley can never become a top 5 group, only spending $100 million a year. Salem has also been dishing up substantiated promises as well. Hundreds of stations, many of which will not be religious stations. These predictions might have been more believable a year or two, except for Clear Channel and Viacom. Large sums of public money is not available now. What's worse, stock target prices are dancing to the tune of Wall Street bankers who can stimulate buying or setting a radio stock into a tailspin. And Beasley, last time I checked over here on our screen, is even. Huh? Is Gore still in there? No?
No.
That's good, because I don't want to embarrass him, because he had an opportunity to get his money back when it was 15 and change. Did he sell it?
No.
No, he's waiting for about 3. He's waiting until he gets about 2 or 3. How do you like that? So wishful thinking again, more pie in the sky, trying, I guess, to con people into believing that they are something that they're not, like broadcasters. 56705, look at this, the NASDAQ's up 102, baby. Yeah. We still got 2.5 hours to go. Don't get carried away, but got a shot. We got a shot, like Jimmy said. Look what happened to his team. 2 days in a row. The Dow's up 74, the NASDAQ's up 102. Maybe we turn the corner. Maybe we don't have to go back and retest those lows.
No.
Maybe Mitch Hirsch isn't going to be such an asshole after all. What do you think? Oh, he is? See, those of you who are so impatient, why can't you be like me? Panic? Panic, people. Just relax. Was I ever panicky at any point during this,
No.
No. Ever since March, when I've been losing money hand over limp wrist, no problem. As a matter of fact, if you took 4 grotesque stocks out of it, in fact, 3 of them out of my portfolio, Citrix, Xerox, which kind of...
What's the abbreviation for Citrix, by the way?
CTXS.
Okay.
XS, as in excess. I have in excess of 1 share, which is too much. But anyway, and Dish TV, another stiff, EchoStar. You took those 3 out of my portfolio, I'd still be losing my ass. But not that bad. Not that bad. It's just that I happen to be stuck with 3 pieces of turd. 2 of them, thanks to Mitch Hirsch, of course, who bought me the Citrix, and then double down and triple down, and that Dish TV. And then, of course, Xerox, which is a great trip from the members from Phil's brother, who's in the porno business. Well, they do make copying machines, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of demand out there for that stuff. Here's a mobile in North Miami Beach. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Big Neil? What's going on?
All right.
Hey, yeah, I just want to go ahead and touch on and take it a step
Touch away,
further.
pal.
Yeah, the belief in God, to me, is the root of everybody's suffering and ignorance. You know, the minute you take him literally and you can't see that he's an expression of man's inner longing and aspiration, that's when you have trouble and ignorance. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And basically, that's what I want to touch on. There is no heaven and hell.
Oh, God!
Live and let live.
Right, DNA.
How much life is better.
Mm-hmm.
That's the moral. Thanks again, Haitian Atheist, signing off.
Pretty simple, right? Okay, thank you. God bless you, sir. I'll pray for you. There you go. Very simple. Do no harm. Live and let live. Which, of course, the right-wing nutcases can't do because they're too busy protecting everybody else from their imaginary hysteria. In the meantime, they're priests like the Catholics. Their priests are the ones that are molesting all the altar boys, but don't confuse them with the facts. You notice how there's never, other than hostility and anger, there's never any response to that? Never. It's like Bush trying to respond to those questions. All he does is just back into a corner and start with the generalities, and he's, for people, for small government, and yada yada, the same old tired cliches. Because when you have something that's very embarrassing and it's like put there right in front of your puss, you can't possibly deal with it, so you have to obfuscate, which somebody spell it for them and tell them what it means. Bush didn't understand a key education issue in Texas. Asked about Gore's 2000 funding in a 1999 interview, Bush said, "There are too many strings. I can't cite you the strings. I was just told there's too many strings." In November 1999, Bush was asked to name the leaders of 4 specific international hotspots: Chechnya, Pakistan, India, and Taiwan. The only name it could produce was the leader of Taiwan. Bush also characterized the coup in Pakistan as good news. In June 1999, Bush spoke at length about his meeting with the leader of Slovenia in response to a reporter's question about Slovakia. When his mistake was pointed out, Bush said, "Just because I mispronounced the name of a country doesn't mean I don't know how to lead." How do you like that? And it goes on and on and on. And these aren't just slips of the tongue. See, one thing about Gore, no matter how much you dislike him, which most people do, and no matter how wooden he may be, and how full of crap he often is, the fact is you couldn't say he's inarticulate, or that he's uneducated, or that he can't speak. Here's a man who just isn't making slips of the tongue. He is genuinely, legitimately dumb. Estupido, okay? Not to mention, of course, the little that we know about his substance abuse problem that we just can't seem to find out too much more.
None of your business.
And yeah, that's right. And if there wasn't any more, how come he won't answer the question? Answer the question, Mr. Paranoia. That's our response. I still say let's dig up Lee J. Cobb. He'd get the answers out of him. Here's a mobile in Miami Beach. Hello.
Yeah, leaps over Avalanche in the cup, and I...
Yeah. 5670560. How about those Maple Leafs, baby? They won a game. All right. Nice going, Matt Sundin. Nice going, Cujo. 4-1 win over Edmonton last night. Thank God. Stop the bleeding. I'll tell you who's looking awfully good. They said Yashin coming back and there'd be dissension and all that crap about the in the room, this in the room. I got your room. Fact is, he's a hell of a player, and Ottawa's looking just awesome these days. Really looking dynamite. Although a nice comeback by the Penguins last night. Let's go on, boys. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Me and my whole family are voting for Bush, okay? You
Yeah.
speak Maricon?
Oh, Maricon. Okay, great. Real happy for you. You and your whole family. Your mama. 22 before 2 at 560. And thanks, by the way, for listening to the highly rated Neil Rogers Fascist Hour. Yeah, are we fascista on this show? Sure. We like a Batista, fascista. We like Maris Grisias, Lazaro, whatever the hell his name was. Oh, what was the guy with the schmata on? Is it schmata head? Oh, yes. Ramon. And Ramon Saul.
This is 560 QAM.
I'm a fat Jew.
Baby Alonzo Moldin. And Alonzo, he ain't keep feeling good. No. Here's the best we got, the short cold tragedy. Can't play no basketball now. Cause this kid here hurts and he might be falling down. What could be worse for a nothing town than have a big bully? This bad kid, who can bounce the ball. Say no more, no. Alonzo. No. Alonzo.
We take you live now to the press conference already in progress.
Boulder. I don't know what I've been told. This lady woman ain't got no soul. Now, here be my doctor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Marky Tyson from Columbia University, New York. And I'm here to assure you that I had a very good BF today. Thank you.
Yeah, quit taking up all our hotel rooms in Toronto, you jackass. So I have to wind up going to Vegas and losing my ass. Nice going, Doc.
Wrong me $50.
Idiot. AOL Chief Case's gift to Christian school offends a gay activist, Steve Case. Recent $8.5 million gift from AOL CEO Steve Case and his wife Jean to a high school alma mater in Fort Lauderdale has raised the hackles of gay activists across the nation. The reason Jean Case's alma mater is Westminster Academy, the Christian school founded by ex-gay movement leader D. James Kennedy of Coral Ridge Ministries. Ex-gay. That's like ex-black, ex-Jewish, ex-white, ex-human. Oh yeah, ex-human. That's Dr. Kennedy, all right. And how's that Dobson guy doing? And his buddy, you know what I should have played the other day? I guess I'll play in a minute. Would have been perfect. See, I'm slipping in my old age. Yeah, for the Trout Man. The Trout Man who had that little extramarital affair. James Dobson's right-hand man, so to speak. 5670560, you know the rest. Here's Sunrise. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Hey, about Bush. Do you think that Bush chose Cheney or Cheney chose Bush?
I think Daddy chose Cheney.
Exactly.
I
He just said, okay, all right, we'll go with it. Close door meetings, whatever you say, Dad.
Yeah, I think that W is he's just going to be a puppet, just a figurehead. You know?
Exactly. And when he goes in, okay, George, here's what you do. The name of this country is...
Right, that's right. That's exactly right. In fact, maybe they'll even bring him some maps, and somebody will show him how to read it.
2 movies to watch this weekend if you ever have the chance to go to the video store. Skulls.
Okay.
You saw that?
No.
Have you seen it yet?
No.
Very, very good movie. It touches on our old friends up there in Yale. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And Last Temptation of Christ.
Okay.
All right?
I'm going
Watch out for the Illuminati.
I'm going right now. I'm going to
All
see
right.
my Bilderberger friends. Okay, see. Yeah, watch out for the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderbergers and the Illuminati. And, of course, don't forget about the Masons, Perry and Janet. Huh? The Masons with that what is that secret handshake and that ring they have with the ring with the thing?
Uh-huh.
In fact, some of the Masons have a ring on their thing. Like Carlos. He's got a ring on everything. And Joe Costello says, I don't want to go into it. Not on Friday. Not so close to the weekend. I think you may have a point, Joe. Here's Kendall. Hello. Kendall. Is gone? Oh, what a sad break. How about Tavernier? Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with that show on Wednesdays, The West Wing?
No, I don't watch that crap. No.
Anyway, it's
I don't watch network stuff. No.
Anyway, they had a skit on there where they were addressing radio personalities, and they were more or less alluding to Dr. Laura, where he addressed a woman, and he said, "Aren't you the one that's intolerant toward homosexuals?" That fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, I don't hate him. It's in the Bible, and homosexuality is an abomination." So he started alluding, quoting from the Bible himself and saying a bunch of stuff. But the last thing he said was, it also says in Leviticus something about you're not supposed to touch a dead pig.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that the Washington Redskins should have gloves on when they play? It was very interesting.
Yeah. Don't tell that to Allie Sherman and those other Jewish coaches. Mark Levy. That's probably where they had to get out.
Anyway, I guess everybody forgets that George Bush went down and went to Panama to arrest a guy and got a lot of Americans killed and just about wiped out the place.
Kind of changed the complexion of the whole hemisphere, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, go Gore.
Okay.
Love you, Neil.
I just can't stand that slut.
Yeah, that bitch, Dr. Laura Kanahora. Yeah, she put that big apology ad in there. Is anybody buying it?
No.
As a matter of fact, she made it 10 times worse because everybody now is saying, to you, honey. Your show sucks.
Phony apology.
Yeah, phony contrived apology because she's trying desperately and so are the people behind her to save her ass and keep that show on the air, which is not going to work.
It was one of those, I'm sorry,
you know something called about truth in packaging. Remember that one morning we turned it on here and she had the dog crap on the floor in the studio? There you go. At least she's honest about it. Her show is pure unadulterated. Whether it's from a dog or an animal or a human or anybody else. Non-stop babbling. Yeah, there you go. You can smell it. In fact, wait till Smell of Radio comes out. You'll be able to smell Dr. Laura right over the air, if she's still on, which I doubt. See, I see tremendous similarities. I hate to say this, but I'll say it anyway, between her and the Jew Liebermans of this world. Although he at least has got enough common sense to pretend to be a little more tolerant. I'm not so sure he really is. But that you know something? You never know, because Phineas Weberman, Orthodox Jew from down here, rabbi, who had 122 kids, he was with Anita Bryant and that whole crowd back in the 70s. And then somehow he had this reawakening. He said, you know something? And so did she, as you recall, because it was not good for business. Yeah, we were wrong, and it was a bad thing to do. And all of a sudden we embraced those those gay people, and we can't afford to be bigots. How do you like that? Phineas T. Weberman, who I had on my show back in those. Let's go back to topics. What do you say?
No.
Yeah. Come on, let's get some rabbis on here.
No.
Let's get Holy Joe on here again and rip his ass.
No.
Yeah, those are the good old days, baby. The days with the topics and the guests. Yeah, that's what I say. And Joe Costello says Carlos is still a piece of crap.
This is 560 QAM. The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Enough for the talking.
People are watching, women are staring, their green blues and blue. But I'm not sharing, some say he's brainless, not some talking, not much to look at, but I ain't looking to smell just a little too much. His eyes are a little too close. His nose just a little too long.
Yes.
But while they're groaning, I will be running, darling. He's got a really big trouser trout.
You call that a penis?
The girls will scream if you let it out. He's got a really big trouser trout. I'm fishing for love.
Unbelievable.
He's got a really big trouser trout.
Incredible.
That's why she makes me just twist and shout. He's got a really big trouser trout. I'm fishing for love. He's got a really big trouser trout. He's got a really big trouser trout. He's got a really big trouser trout. Fishing for love.
There's the Trump man fading off into the distance. You won't see him no more, riding off on his horse or whatever he's riding. Here's a fax from our good friend Jim Walsh, whose letter to the editor I read in here last week. Remember what a great letter it was about the prayer in the football game? I'm pretty sure that was the one. He says there's going to be a Gore rally this Sunday at Carpenter's Hall, 2860 Northwest 27th Avenue in Oakland Park, 2 to 4 p.m. Gore rally this Sunday, Carpenter's Hall, 2860 Northwest 27th Avenue, Oakland Park, 2 to 4 in the p.m. Sunday. There you go, Jim. Good luck to you. Have about 20 or 30 million people there and tell them all to vote 10 times just to be on the safe side. Here's Margate. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that George W. Bush could possibly be Eddie Haskell come to life?
Possible. Never saw the two of them together.
Absolutely, but that's who he reminds me of.
Yeah.
Anybody who votes for him has got to be Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver's immediate relative.
Cleaver, Bush, there you go. I see it all put together right now.
Absolutely.
Good work, pal.
All right.
Okay, you're hired. Here's our new investigator. That's the Bush inspector. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Pretty good, sir.
I'm undecided.
Yeah.
And
well, then just vote for Gore, just to get the worry off your mind.
Well, no, Gore's not even in the running. I'm undecided between Bush and Nader.
Yeah. Okay, well, vote for Ralph Nader, man, early and often. Nader 2 or 3 times between Bush and Nader. Oh, that's like saying, I'm trying to decide, can I vote for Ted Kennedy or Charlton Heston? Yeah, I see some similarities there, don't you? Should I vote for Joe Biden or maybe Jesse Helms? Okay. Right. I think the answer is stay home, sir. Please do yourself a favor. It's dangerous these days. You go out, you can get into an accident. God only knows what kind of riffraff will be out there in the streets. Stay at home on Election Day, please. Work on it. Here's a lady in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is my first time calling.
Hello.
I just love your show.
Thank you.
And I've been listening to you for a long time.